Coming Down is proudly sponsored by Colorado Ganja Gear, high-quality, artistically inspired herb grinders. So let me tell you, these things are great. I actually own one. My favorite part is the perfect consistency you get after grinding. Some grinders just pulverize your herb into dust, but the razor-sharp teeth and smooth action on these always leave you with perfect, fluffy, evenly ground herb. The craftsmanship is top-notch, made from aircraft-grade aluminum to guarantee you won't get metal shavings mixed into your herb. But the best part, truly, is each grinder features original artwork created by Colorado artist Lori Beatty. She creates unique mandalas that are laser-etched into each magnetic lid. And each grinder comes in a silk bag and has free shipping. So just go to etsy.com/shop/Colorado Ganja Gear and enter the code Coming Down in all caps for $5 off, or go to the show notes for this episode and follow the link. Thanks and enjoy the episode. Hello everyone, my name is Nathan. I'm here with Matthew.
Hey everybody.
I'm also here with Mark.
Hey everybody.
Yeah, so we're just doing guest intro here because we just recorded the guest episode that is coming out right now.
Whole new format here.
Right?
I'm in my own episode.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So, yeah, you know, look, we're just behind is what it is.
Hey man, podcasting is hard work.
It is, and keeping a backlog is hard work. So
it's nigh impossible if you're trying to do Patreon episodes.
That too, and guest episodes. So here we are. We're doing an intro at the end of recording the episode you're about to hear, and Mark is here with us, and we're just gonna shoot the shit for a minute.
Damn straight.
Did you have fun, man?
Yeah, I had a great time.
Hell yeah.
Dude, yeah, this is really fun being with you guys. Got to talk a little bit about my Pacific Crest Trail adventure.
Hell yeah.
Such a good story, man.
Definitely. It was a really fun time. You guys are like, this story is hard to like structure, and you guys made it fucking easy. So thank you.
Thank you.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right on. I mean, yeah, you had a lot to talk about, and I feel like we could just do hours more on it because I'm sure there's a ton to talk about.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
But yeah, we try and get these stories out. Ultimately, though, what am I even talking about?
Well, ultimately, like, what happened with your week, dude? Like, how's life? You know,
Fuck, man. Right, that is what we usually talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, look, dude, my week was good. Halloween happened. That was fun.
Dude, it was fucking Halloween. Like, it was your anniversary, man. Like,
it was our anniversary.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, we didn't do anything. We went to Olive Garden. We wanted to just like...
We went to Olive Garden?
Yeah, we wanted to super cheesy it up. We were just like, fuck it.
Did you eat nothing but breadsticks?
Mostly, dude.
Good deal.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's apparently the sport.
I was there for the
Olive
breadsticks.
Garden.
Yeah. We did the anniversary thing, and then we did a ton of Halloween stuff. We went to Lion's Eye as usual because they have a haunted house. Ricky and I went to a haunted house. A real one, and it was fucking terrifying. Did I talk about this last week?
This is absolutely
I
on
fucking
last week's
hated.
intro.
I fucking hated.
Wasn't gonna stop you. But,
We also went to a party at a friend's house, and it was a super blast. Yeah, I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, what did you do, man?
Well, you know what I did, which was work the whole fucking weekend. You know, but
Sad days.
you know, it's fine.
What did you do, Mark?
For Halloween?
Yeah.
Oh man, I had like super low key Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tara, but a really nice one. Yeah, Tara and I just like hung out at her new place, which is actually right down the street from my place.
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, we like hung out and watched Coraline and handed out candy to trick or treaters. It was super cute.
All right.
Holy shit! No, this is the thing. Like in my neighborhood, up until this year, we never had trick or treaters.
Really?
But and I mean, like I live in like the Cesar Chavez and Powell neighborhood, so like that's not a huge surprise.
Right.
I mean, it's traditionally been considered a bad neighborhood, but god damn it, like it is no longer that. Like it,
Not at
I
all.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Portland has the rent has gone up enough. Like we've gentrified enough that like there's just families with children in my neighborhood now, and they'll be goddamned if they're going to drive all the way to the fucking Laurelhurst or fucking
Yeah, right.
Mount Tabor just to go trick or treating. When there's tons of fucking people around them who are in the same economic fucking bracket that they're in, and like, god damn it.
So did you hand out full-size bars, dude? Because that's the
Well,
fucking,
no.
that's the real
no,
trick,
here's
dude.
the thing is,
Gentrify
like, I
Halloween.
didn't expect that, so I was completely unprepared apart from the or like the frightening pumpkin that I put on my back porch, sitting on a broken chair, just to frighten away all the children. But if I'd been on my game, I would have definitely done what everyone else in Portland does, which is buy marijuana edibles at the dispensary. And disguise them as Sour Patch Kids.
Slide razor blades into them.
Yeah, exactly. Just so you can get on the news,
The children, yeah.
It's for the kids.
No, last year we didn't expect trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood because, for reasons.
Well, the trick-or-treaters in this neighborhood are trying to rob you.
Yeah.
Oh, do we get them in Lentz, though, yeah? Like, just east of here?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And our little block...
Lentz is chill, though, but, like, right here, there's a lot of drifters.
Our little block... Okay, so yeah, like a couple blocks, in any direction from us, like, maybe a different story, but our little block, yeah, people don't come to our house. And we didn't expect people to come to our house last year. And so we bought, like, a little bit of candy, and we actually... we got a few, and I handed so much out. I was just like dumping like handfuls into these kids, like
dude.
Buckets,
Uncle Nate's phantasmagorical.
Yeah, totally, dude, totally. Because I didn't expect to get that many, and then literally like I got a few, and then some kids knocked on the door, and I was out.
Sorry, bro. All I got is pencils.
Yeah, I think we dug out some like Pez or stuff or something that we had.
Like Werther's from the fucking junk drawer.
Yeah, the little strawberry ones that you find in Grandma's fucking jar,
Taco Bell sauce packet.
Yeah. Straight up breath mints. Like,
yeah,
it's cool, man. Here you go.
But this year we didn't do it, man. We went to Lion's Eye. It was dope, and then we went to a party. It was dope. I don't know, man. I don't have too much to report on this week.
Well, cool, because all of that shit was from last week anyway.
Fuck, no. Some of it was. No, the party we went to was super rad.
Oh, no, right. Yeah, because that was on Thursday, so I'm already fucking the same.
Yeah. Anyway. No, the party we went to, you were there. Yeah.
Yeah, you mean the weekend before.
Allegedly.
Totally.
Allegedly.
I was allegedly at that party.
Yeah, that was super
Hence
fun.
the not party.
Can neither confirm nor deny these allegations.
No. The only thing I talked about the week previous was the actual haunted house that we went to. So.
Well, right, yeah, because that was on Wednesday, Devil's Night.
Correct.
Yeah. All right.
Or some such. Timelines are weird.
We've come full circle.
So, anyway, this is the post-intro thing that we're doing.
And it's going very well.
It's going great.
I feel like our guests our listeners are really digging this at this point.
Yep.
We haven't fucked this up at all.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Magic of editing, you won't even know that this was weird at all.
No one does any editing on this show. Nathan certainly doesn't cut out anything. It's all raw. So everyone hears everything, warts and all.
Yep. But we'll just get into the housekeeping so that we can just get through this. So check out our Patreon, patreon.com/comingdownpod. Everyone who supports us, we love you sincerely, dearly. It's so important to keep our lights on and keep us moving because this shit does cost money. Also, Mark is one of our earliest supporters, so like,
aw, thanks,
fuck
guys.
yeah, thank you, Mark.
You can have
for
$1
fuck yeah,
Your $1 has been supporting
you know what,
us, sir.
Yeah, and you've
Well,
been like from the beginning though. You've been like a real big supporter. Just like you've liked the show, you've encouraged us. So thank you for being here, right now, and coming on and doing an episode of this.
Absolutely welcome, boys. This show is fucking amazing.
Hell yeah!
Thank you.
Thanks, man. And check us out, comingdownpod.com. That's gonna have the show notes, which this week we will have some. I've got pictures to put up from the PCT stuff.
We got dirty shoes, dirty hats,
dirty bandanas, dirty stoves.
Yeah.
Got it all.
Yeah, all the dirty. And, follow us on Twitter at comingdownpod. Email us comingdownpod@gmail.com. Check us out on all the platforms that you're already listening to, including Stitcher. And if you want to leave a review, we would love it. Other than that, man, let's go. Yeah, fucking time, dude. That's just like the fucking killer, dude, for any productivity, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've got all these things that I would love to work on and love to get done. And then, like, you know, and then also hobbies and a social life. And between all of that, it's just like, fuck, dude, I don't have time. I don't have time.
100%. Yeah, it's the same way I feel, man. Like, right now I'm at, like, I don't know, I feel like 80% just, like, maintenance and working on stuff for the future, and like 20% actually doing what I want to do in my life. You know what I mean?
God, and that's even like a decent ratio. Like,
Yeah,
I
totally.
guess I'm probably
It's a
there, but
healthy
like,
ratio,
yeah.
It might be 99.1. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
like I'm probably actually there, but it does not feel like that. You know, it feels like
totally,
I'm
man.
just fucking working and maintaining a lot and like fitting in the other stuff where I can. But I know that's not true. I do have a lot of fun in my life.
for sure.
I squeeze in hobbies and games and social stuff and fun stuff here and there. But
But it's a squeeze.
yep. But it is a squeeze, you know.
Well, I'm just making sure you get enough downtime to recharge your batteries, and you know, like
Yep, that too, man.
Self-care
That too.
and all
Like,
that.
even after all of that, I still need the day to just like sit on the couch and fucking watch a show and like eat some food and like not talk to anyone. Like, you know, just fucking be lazy and
yeah,
yeah.
that shit's important, man.
It really is. Yeah, it's key. It's all part of the balance.
Whatever you do to like ease stress, you know.
Man, you
Finally got that today.
good. I was just I guess I was reading this article. I haven't read the nitty-gritty of it, but Microsoft in Japan went to a 4-day work week and
Read
their
about
productivity went up like 40%.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah.
dude, if people have something more to look forward to and like
Well, right.
they just feel better about their lives and they just work harder and better.
I've always
I don't
said
know.
this. I'd rather work 4 10s than 5 8s. You know, like.
Oh, well, me too.
Yeah.
You know.
But I'd rather
Definitely.
work 4 8s.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, I'll
Rather work 3 8s.
I'll get 10 hours of work done in 4 8-hour days, like, compared to what I would do on 5 8-hour days. You know,
Yeah.
like, because I mean, fuck, man, you just get burned out, and like, you end up spending some of your time fucking off on the internet because it's just like, ugh, I need a break. You know.
It's all about like working when you're working and then totally relaxing when you're relaxing, which is like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know, trying to figure out how to do that is a lot.
Well, and just
Yeah.
trying to explain to your boss that like you literally need to do something else every hour, or you're not going to be productive is not easy. You know.
No, it's like trusting your employees to just like
So many
be
places
fucking
don't.
adults, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Which like,
Oh, God.
it's
And
really
just,
sad how
respecting your
few
employees
places,
enough to-
especially on the low end, like don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's man, I dream of the day soon, in a number of years, where I will have like a real job where they, you know, give me that freedom.
Well, isn't it weird how we just like work towards retirement? Of like, that is the dream. It's like we just work our ass off to the point where it's like, cool, I can actually just not work anymore.
Yeah.
But
Now
then you're
that
like,
I'm old, I can not work.
Yeah, but then you're just like beat down and don't have it in you to like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You know?
Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance of like, and I don't know, this might be kind of a transition, maybe, like kind of work as one, because like it's definitely a balance of like how much you spend your time now in like your young years, like doing what you want to do, and
Yes.
working towards something in the future, or just kind of maintenance of crap, like we were talking about before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, if I should use this as transition, like the
Fire it
PCT.
up.
No, this is the perfect. This is
Yeah.
the perfect
Way.
transition, dude.
Totally. The PCT for me and for a lot of people, I think, is like, fuck it. As a young person right now, I'm just going to be the person I want to be in this moment, you know? I'm going to go off and do this fucking thing.
Well, and that's so key. Take advantage of that stuff when you're young, when you can. You know, if you have the opportunity,
If you do, yeah.
just
Yeah.
do it for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
I know I'm playing catch up right now, but I don't regret spending so many of my years like playing music and like
Exactly.
striving for that goal.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
I didn't become famous, but I did a lot of the things that I wanted to do, and I don't regret that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird. Again, I'm playing catch up now. It's like, oh, I
Right.
just started my 401k.
Right.
Like 37, should have done that 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Me too. You know,
Yeah.
but like, dude, I mean, what are you going to remember more? You know, that you went for it, or that you decided to just
Yep.
take it easy? You know.
Yep, for sure.
So-
So, for the listener, so the PCT, so what does that stand for?
Yeah, so background. So the PCT is the Pacific Crest Trail. It is a hiking trail that goes from Mexico to Canada, Canada to Mexico, depending on the direction you're going. It's like a long, unbroken trail. It's like 2,659 miles long, and you can just
That's wild.
Wow.
walk it from one country to the other.
Now, does it start at the border, or does it actually extend into Canada and Mexico?
So it basically starts at the Mexican border, and then, and I should say, it goes through California, Oregon, and Washington. So this is West Coast.
Right.
Yeah, so it starts basically at the Mexican border, give or take 100 feet.
Okay.
And it goes about like 9 miles into Mexico. Or
Okay.
into Canada, excuse
Canada,
me.
okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
totally. So basically just border.
And people
Okay.
do it the other way?
People do,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, of course they do. But
Oh, yeah.
But do most people go south to north?
Most people go south to north, starting in Mexico. I'd say like about 10% of people go Canada to Mexico. So we call those Sobos, southbounders. And if you're going north, you're a Nobo.
Novo.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Awesome.
And we meet somewhere in the middle of the summer. So
And there's a
Yeah.
couple other
Nice.
trails that are like this in the country, right? There's the Appalachian Trail, correct? And one other one?
Continental Divide Trail is
There you
the other
go.
big one. Yeah.
Okay, and that's the Rockies?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh,
Totally.
wild.
Yeah, and that is probably the wildest of the three trails. So like the AT is the crowdedest probably. It's been kind of big for longer than the other
Right.
two, and then PCT is, I don't know, maybe like the most well known around places, and then the CDT is just kind of getting going. But yeah,
Huh,
Wow.
wild.
and then if you do all three, you're a triple crowner.
Nice, nice. Cool. Do you want to do all three?
That's an interesting question. I would 100% do it again. Like I would 100% like go out and hike a trail like this again. I'm not sure. The CDT appeals to me. The ADT the AT is just like a little more crowded, so I might choose like a trail outside of the U.S. or a different
And,
trail
like,
over the AT. But
And crowded.
nothing
like,
against the AT.
when you say crowded, like, what do you mean? Like, are you really like just rolling in like packs with people, or you're just gonna run into people like more often?
Yeah, you can be rolling. I mean, like even on the PCT, so like in recent years, they've started issuing permits at like the Mexican border, or for people starting at the Mexican border for Nobos. So they issue like for 50 permits a day,
Oh, wow.
and you literally pick your day that you start,
That's
just
a
because
lot.
of how busy
Oh,
it is. And
okay.
yeah, so then that means like 50 people are
But that's
around
just to
you
prevent
in
like
a 24-hour period.
100 people start, or like so many people starting on one day.
Right, because like there is sort of like an ideal time to start.
Well, right,
Right.
Right.
Which actually is a good question to ask. How long does the average person take?
I'd say 5 months. Yeah, 4.5 to 5.5.
Moly,
Yeah.
dude, that is
That's
so
wild.
wild. You've told me some of this stuff, but it's still gonna kind of blow my hair back. Like
Totally.
that is
Yeah.
a long time to be out traipsing
I mean,
through the woods, dude.
I don't remember how long it took Frodo to get to Mount Doom, but it
Yeah.
seems fairly comparable.
Totally. I don't know, about like what, 12 hours, I guess, by all the movies.
Director's cuts, yeah. Okay.
Director's cuts. I always go by director's cuts for
Yeah,
sure, man.
right.
Extended edition, for sure. But
So
yeah, 5 months.
Wow.
So it's
Yeah.
like late April to late September, early October is what
Yeah.
that's the sweet spot you
That's
want to
ideal.
shoot for.
right, like what's the latest
If you're
you could
like
leave?
hardcore, you can kind of like get outside those
Okay.
ranges, but
Sure.
you ideally want to do it in the summer because like summer backpacking is just like an entirely different experience than like winter backpacking and
Yeah.
just off-season stuff, which
Well, do people do it in the winter?
so there are people who do crazy shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
sure,
Obviously.
yeah.
There are like people who do stuff outside of the bounds of what other folks do, but
Sure, but I mean, you're up at such elevation on that trail that like there's got to be parts of the winter where it's just literally impassable, right?
yeah, or at least impassable, like given a certain set of technical difficulty. I don't really know personally.
Okay.
I just know that there are like some folks. I think even there was like a couple dudes who did all three trails. They like triple crowned in a year or something like that.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? So like who did like the PCT, CDT, and AT like all in one year.
Whoa.
Feats like that happen,
Crazy.
right?
Oh
But it's
my
really
God.
because there are some people who do the PCT in like a really short amount of time, right? And they're essentially like trail runners and are trail running the PCT. Right?
Oh wow!
And they probably have
Speed runs.
drops.
Yeah, speed runs. Totally. Exactly. They'll have drops, and then so there's like records for these trails, but there's also like there's unsupported and supported records, right? Like if you have somebody coming to give you something, or if you're just doing it like we do, where you actually have to get off trail and go to a grocery store.
Oh
and
yeah.
Yourself, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, though like we're supported in a way too, but.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So there's people who don't just pop off because you stopped off for a couple times, right, to like re-up on supplies and like take a minute, right?
Yeah. In fact, like we stop really frequently, so it's like I say, the whole trail takes about 5 months, and we stop off for resupplies maybe like every 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because how do you carry 5 months of shit with you?
Exactly. You don't.
Yeah.
So the unsupported people, do they like forage and hunt and shit?
No, so like unsupported people, I just mean, or I should say the supported people are folks who are being like supported by somebody
Crew.
who comes along with like literally a crew.
Yeah.
Because these are like professional athletes essentially.
Right. So they have a support
shooting
team
for,
that's like doing gear drops and like bringing them what they need up to
Totally.
the trail.
Oh,
Like
so
the
that they
elite
can
level people,
so
I
that they
guess is what I
can
mean.
speed run.
Exactly.
Right.
They don't have to pop off into town and shit.
Exactly.
I
So
got it.
they'll get like
Just keep going.
ungodly like records and shit like that.
So, take me back just a little bit. What inspired you to do this, man? I mean, I think for a lot of people, myself included, it sounds fucking cool, and also like really hard and terrifying. So, what brought it into your head that you were just like, I want to fucking do this thing?
Totally.
I want to spend 5 months walking
Yeah.
from south to north.
It is kind of a weird thing that just like sounds awesome and also sounds terrible at the same time, because it's like, oh, you're just gonna walk for 5 months, sun up to sundown.
Sure, but
So you kind of have to be a weird sort of
you know,
person.
Like I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was brought up backpacking. My dad was a big backpacker. Worked for like a outdoor expeditions type group when he was in college, and
Sweet.
So he like took our family out for backpacking trips when I was a kid. So I was aware of the PCT, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He was on it a few times, like around like Sisters area.
Did chunks of it.
Yeah, or not even like big chunks, but just like I
You're
was
on the trail
it.
where you cross it.
Yeah, and Dad would be like, "You keep walking that direction, you get to Mexico.
Yep.
You keep walking that direction, you get to Canada." That's exciting, right?
That's exactly how my dad introduced me to the PCT.
Yeah.
We were up by Ypolo
Right.
Lake on the trail outside of Sisters, and he's just like, Mexico, Canada.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I don't know, just like a certain period in my life, I think, where I was just ready for. It was sort of the culmination of, like this self-actualization thing, where you're like, I think a lot of times we put like barriers between us and like being the person we want to be, because we think, oh, that's like some other type of person who does big things or big adventures or whatever.
Yeah,
like
sure.
X, right? Because I'm not Y.
Right.
You know?
Uh-huh.
And I think I was just starting to realize like that wasn't true. I was coming out of I had some big worldview changes in my like early 20s. I grew up super fucking religious and shit.
Yeah.
And so like,
which I want to get you back on to talk about some of that
totally.
stuff too.
Talk about that too. Totally. So I was coming out of that and taking on my own identity and sort of recognizing that like forming one's identity isn't as much about like finding out who I truly am inside. It's more about being like, what do I want to do? It's more about action, right? Like I'm just going to go do that thing, right?
Nice.
And so then the PCT came along, and I recognized, oh, that's one of the things in the past that I've said, wow, fucking awesome people do that. That is the type of person I wanted to be, but I'm not that person. And was like, well, fuck, man, I could totally be that person. I just got to go do it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Summer of 2016, I started planning for the PCT, and then, May 7th, 2017, I got on trail.
That's so cool, man.
That's awesome.
And that's so cool, man, because I've always talked about how, and I don't understand it, why humans are so self-defeating, but we will just stand in the way of our own success and our own actualization constantly, and I just don't understand it. So it's cool that you recognize that, and you're like, you know what, fuck that, I can go and fucking conquer this thing, and like, you know, and if that helps like define something inside yourself and like make you feel like you've accomplished something or whatever, you know, the litany of reasons, I think that's really cool.
No doubt.
Totally.
Yeah. No, and when you initially were like telling me about planning for this and stuff, and then the whole time you were on it, I was just like, man, someday I should do that.
Yeah.
Sounds cool, man.
Yeah,
Like-
I always wanted to, like, you know, I grew up hiking in the woods a lot outside of Central Oregon with my family,
sure you
and
did, yeah.
you know, like I said, my dad and I backpacked up to Yapoa Lake, and he showed me the Pacific Crest Trail, and I was like, someday I want to at least just do Oregon.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see about the rest of it, but you know, I think I ended up in the first basket that you were talking about, where it's like, yeah, that sounds awesome, and that's the kind of person I want to be, but I don't think I'm that person.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm that person either. I'm all for adventure, but I don't know if I'm a hiking for 5 months person, but maybe.
Right.
That's so cool. It's just such an accomplishment, man.
Absolutely.
Like, you get to say that for the rest of your life, and just like, holy shit, dude. How many people a year do it?
I think it's like roughly 3,000-ish, at
No
least in
way.
2017, I think. Yeah, so it's like a lot of people.
That's-
I should say a lot of people
that's crazy.
who start in Mexico, and
Sure.
we'll leave it as like a up in the air whether or not I made it to Canada, but but the people who, like, you know, actually like start at the border, I think they issue that many permits. Especially. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so,
then, like,
so
maybe
people do the
300
whole
people
thing,
who
border
go
to
south
border.
north.
It's
Yeah.
like 3,000?
The people border to border, I actually have no idea.
Okay.
But the people who buy permits, it's
I see.
to go all the way.
I
Is,
see.
is 3,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or
That's
at least
still
permits to start in Mexico.
that's still incredible. If even half of them complete,
right.
that's 1,500 people a year. That's so much. I figured it'd be like a couple hundred who like
Yeah.
do the whole thing, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's getting more and more popular. So
Sure.
yeah, and that's a balance, right? Like trying to figure out how to like enjoy like the solitude of being out on trail and all this stuff and preserve that, and yet
Oh,
at
I
the
would
same
enjoy
time,
that.
like, yeah, it is great.
Yeah.
And I'm like a fucking introvert. I'm like a huge introvert, but well, maybe this is just like a teaser for later. But like, I definitely found on the PCT once, so it's pretty crowded at the beginning, but later in my journey, it got especially the opposite of crowded.
Right.
Not a lot of people.
Sparse.
Sparse, there it is. Yeah, and lonely.
Yeah.
Lonely is the word that it led to, yeah, for sure. So like,
Yeah.
even for me, it was like, it's a lot to just be out there alone for days
Yeah.
and days on your own without humans. It's like, it really teaches you how much we are biologically designed to be around others like us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, we
We're definitely social creatures.
are. Yeah, you're like the most introverted among
Yeah,
us.
as introverted as you
beg
are.
for a hug, or like just the view of another human being, like
Yeah.
just like, oh yes, a day hiker. I can
Yeah.
smell what it's like to be back in civilization.
Yeah.
Anyway,
For real.
yeah, dude, been there.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I've had, you know, back when I was a WoW junkie, you know, like I've had stints where like I just went deep, and like apart from like chat or whatever, or like the occasional like voice chat, like wasn't really talking to other human beings, and like
Yeah.
it does something to your head, you know.
Yeah.
Like
It does, man.
it's weird, you know. And then once you get reintegrated, you realize what you lost, you know. It's like, whoa, what the fuck.
Definitely.
So I can imagine being out in the woods for fucking 5 days at a time would
Yeah.
like that would
Get
really be
lost
some
in
shit.
that
Yeah.
primal anxiety. You start
Yeah.
seeing like snowshoes in the ground that like kind of look like bear prints, and you're like, fuck, they're following me. I don't know, shit like that. Yeah, man, it got weird up in Washington. Oh,
Start seeing clouds out of the corner of your eye.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, those like deer eyes in the middle of the night. You definitely start thinking
Oh,
cougars
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I want to go back a little bit. So what was
Yeah.
prep like? You said you started prepping in summer of 16, and then you left like late spring, early summer of 17.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a year of prep. So what all did you do? Like,
So I needed that long mostly to just like save up the money to go on trail. At
Right.
the time, I was just delivering pizza.
yeah.
At the time, maybe I'm still
And you
delivering
were lucky
pizza.
enough to, yeah, I was going to say, you were lucky enough to get your job back.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's awesome.
Totally. I've been working that job for a hot sec, so they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever, man, come back. You're good. Have
Yeah.
your fucking soul search journey.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Pizza will be waiting.
Exactly. Fucking corporate America will be waiting.
Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, after you do that trudge, we got a trudge waiting for you.
oh, it's true.
Yeah.
But, yeah, totally. So that whole year was spent, like, yeah, just doing research and stuff like that. I bought some books, a lot of like online research. As you can imagine, it's kind of like a big thing for people to like blog about the PCT. There's a lot of
connect
YouTube
with other
channels,
people.
you
Yeah.
know, there's a fucking subreddit, there's a Facebook group. Please, goddamn it, stay off of that. It's so bad. It's fucking cesspool.
Yeah.
Subreddit's great, but like,
Oh, yeah.
Subreddits tend to be
group.
Facebook pages, not so much.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
It got into some problematic shit there later in the. We don't have to get into that.
Okay, yeah.
Fair.
We'll save that if we need it.
In general, stay out of Facebook.
Yeah, no kidding. So had you known anyone who had done this before? Like,
I had, yeah. So let's see. Trying to think of other folks, but yeah. So the closest person in my life who had been on the PCT before, who'd done it, was Boot Johnson. Boot is actually his trail name.
Okay.
Teaser again. Trail
Nice.
names is like a thing. You get a trail name while you're on the PCT, and that's like your.
all right, I'm gonna want to hear that
name
story,
while
but
you're on the trail. There's a story for that too.
yeah.
Yeah, so, but he actually uses his trail name as his regular name now because, like, it worked well enough for him or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so my cousin Boot, or my cousin-in-law, I guess.
Oh, I met Boot. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
you totally met Boot. Yeah,
Yep.
Boot's a fucking dope-ass dude.
Yep.
Lives in Estacada now, but yeah, so he hiked the PCT in 2009. He has a cool story too. So he he got all the way to Portland, and I think he had some sort of like foot or leg injury.
Oh, shit.
Got off trail, and my cousin Chelsea. She was like putting up hikers. They'd never done it before, but was just trying to be like cool and like put people up at her house or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And like Boot and her kind of fell in love.
Oh.
Yeah, and like he got stuck there for a long time because of his injury, and he just never fucking left Portland. Never kept hiking.
Whoa.
Just ended his trail there.
I love
Whoa.
it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
totally, man.
Oregon Trail.
Dude went on a solitary journey and found love.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
For sure, dude.
Cool. Okay. So
So yeah, that's the only person I knew. Oh, hey. So for the listener, I brought artifacts of my journey here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And
you
we'll-
don't get to see any of it, so I'm sorry, but
well, you do because we'll take pictures and put them on the show
Oh,
notes.
there you go.
Yeah.
I'll be the show
there's
notes,
always
yeah.
show notes.
Yeah,
For
totally.
those of you who want to look there. Anyway, so this is actually Boot's bounce box from when he was on the PCT.
Okay.
So a bounce box is like a postage box that you send yourself up the trail, right? So you might have like certain gear that you don't want to carry on you, but like you need to get every once in a while, like
Right.
maps and shit like that for later in the trail. So this was his bounce box from 2009, and he let me have it for 2017.
Oh, that's fucking
That's
cool.
Yeah, so I have yet to pass this on to somebody else, but
Well, and when
That's
you
the
check
idea.
these show notes, it's just covered in like
Postal
priority
tape.
mail and postal tape and various like addresses and stuff like
totally.
That's awesome.
and just
fucking
taped up
beast.
to be sturdy and rugged and make it through the mail. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
You got zip tie it here on the end and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's a beast.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's got
Oh, hell
tons
yeah.
of like old Bart Simpson stamps and shit.
Yeah, that was from Mona.
Oh yeah, it's all stamped up. Hell yeah,
Anyway,
that's
good
awesome.
shit. So yeah, who
Brilliant.
gave me this bounce box?
Hell yeah. So wait. Explain the bounce box again. So this is something you can just like keep receiving in the mail when you stop at various points and.
Totally.
You just send it to like a post office that's in the town that you're going to, or okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's right.
Oh, you
So
just bounce it to yourself.
you bounce it yourself.
Got it.
Exactly, and they'll just like hold it there for a while because you're usually bouncing it to just like a town that is near the PCT, so
Right.
they're familiar with this whole thing, and
Oh, sure.
they'll just like store it in their back room. I think it's like a month technically is how long they'll store that before they, I don't know, throw it out or send it back somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Wild.
So, and the great thing is, I think it's for all priority mail. We're getting into the weeds, sorry. But
Get into the weeds, dude.
but,
Ah.
but it's dope, right? For all priority mail, if you don't actually open it, you don't have to pay to forward it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like if I'm at point A and I send it to point B and then I walk to point B and now I'm at point B and I don't actually need anything out of the box, I can send it to point C for free.
Nice.
Dope.
It's cool. So that's kind
really
of
nice.
the way of the bounce box.
Hell yeah. So what did you bring with you? I mean, so day one, like, so you've done all your research and everything. Like you've talked to some people, like you know kind of what's going on. What did you get together? What did your pack look like?
There's a good photo of it for the show notes.
Is there?
It is, yeah.
Okay, cool.
For sure. Yeah, I'll include that.
Yeah, I'm just curious,
So-
like, what do you start with? Because I would fucking probably hem and haw and be like, well, do I, like, I probably need this, I probably need this, but, like, you can only take so much, right?
Well, I'm sure there's like a bunch of lists out there, and like you just kind of pare it down from that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, but again, like, I think I would just be the victim of overpacking.
Oh,
Just
okay.
like, oh god, like, I'm forgetting
Well,
too many things, or like, how do I
every-
not bring this?
Everybody
And-
is.
yeah.
So like maybe, I don't know, 40 miles or so into the PCT, there's I think Lake Morena. Not Lake Morena. After that, Mount Laguna. It's like your first stop, and basically like everybody's dumping shit at that spot, right? So like you recognize pretty quickly the things that you didn't actually need. So yeah, for backpacking, you definitely want to carry some like kind of minimum stuff. Like if you guys have backpacked before.
Do you do like a framed backpack?
No, so like these days people are doing internal
Right.
frame stuff.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but like it's not like an external frame where
Yeah.
you can see the bars.
Are
and
those
shit.
just old school?
Those are
Does
old-
no
those
one
are
do
old
those
school
things
now. Yeah.
anymore?
I've been doing internal frames since like,
Okay.
the late 80s.
For sure.
Yeah, dude.
And now,
that's
like-
how out of touch I am.
Yeah, through hiking bags have gotten so you got like backpacking, right? Like traditional backpacking, which is like, you know, be careful about what you bring. Try to bring as light of stuff as you can, as little stuff as you can.
Of course,
And then you
yeah.
got through hiking, which is or ultralighters, right? Which gets into the realm of people who are hiking like really long trails and stuff like that, or
Right.
trying to hike quickly, and then it gets like even more pared down.
Yeah.
And so you try to just carry the bare minimum and
Right.
like gear that's just especially light and stuff like that.
Now,
I
did
forgot where I
you
was going with that, but
did you do like some practice hikes and that kind of thing, like to test like your gear load and that sort of thing?
yeah, totally. I did a few things, just around Portland area, up in the gorge and stuff like that.
For sure,
Yeah, in
okay.
2016.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I imagine you trained a bit too, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're a pretty fit dude, but like, I imagine you did some extra stuff to like get in a little better shape.
Yeah,
Or
so
maybe not. I don't know.
I did, yeah. So like I just did a lot of running, like
Yeah.
the spring before, basically. Yeah, because it's just all about cardio, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
just a lot of running.
Just keep that endurance up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, like if anyone out there is interested in like doing a long trail or through hiking, like you pretty much just have to. The bare minimum is like a general level of physical fitness. I don't know, if you can get into running or something like that before you start, that's good. And then in terms of like technical experience, really if you can just do an extended backpacking trip, which just means a regular backpacking trip where you have to stop and resupply somewhere in the middle, then you pretty much have all the knowledge you need to do the PCT, because it's just
Cool.
that over and over and over
Yeah,
again. all the
okay,
way up
yeah.
to Canada, you know?
That's
So,
cool.
yeah, it really is actually a lot easier than it seems.
I mean,
As long as you're okay with doing a lot of walking. you
yeah,
know?
it's like I bet
Yeah.
it is. It's just
We're all
the,
pretty experienced with that.
the time commitment
That's the hard
is
part.
like the crazy thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Finding the money and the ability to take the time off work and stuff, I think for most
Right.
people is the biggest barrier.
Living
But-
situation
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's-
living situation.
That's
Yeah,
totally the biggest
you know,
barrier.
close to half a year of either paying rent on a place that you're not living in or figuring out a way to not pay rent for 5 months. You
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
totally. I had like really cool roommates. I feel like I should shout this out right now, who like partially paid my rent through that time period,
Nice.
and we're like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool, you can leave. We'll,
I
like,
know
rent
all
out
your
your
roommates,
room.
and they are cool.
Yeah, they are cool for sure. So
Well, actually, like, we don't even have to hide that. Like, fucking Shelby was one of your
yeah,
roommates. And,
totally. Shelby, friend of the pod.
Yeah,
guest
yeah.
on, maybe host,
co-host
of another pod.
currently of our hypotheticals.
Hypotheticals.
Yeah,
His
totally.
roommate and actually was my girlfriend for half of that hike. So
Yeah, right? Yeah. Actually, the
wouldn't want me to
listeners at home
forget all
might
of
be
it.
starting to piece some of this together because she's talked about like
Right.
relationship stuff
Yeah.
a little bit. So.
In fact, I think my
Yeah.
also should probably throw this out here. My current girlfriend, Tara, current and future
Oh yeah.
girlfriend.
Also,
Also-
double time guest of the pod.
Yeah, so it's the badass mechanical engineer who works at NASA, and we actually met while I was on trail too, so that might come up as well.
Are you the
Oh, yeah.
only guy that's done the PCT that's had two different girlfriends, like throughout the like entirety of
Like,
the
of
hike?
the PCT?
He's
I'll tell you,
made history.
no. Frequent thing. Yeah, I will. I think Shelby will agree with me on this. Like, if you feel like a mutual breakup is coming, a long 5-month-long soul-searching journey is not a bad thing to start on. Definitely space is a good thing, and
Yeah.
that works for that. But-
Nice. Wow. Now all the cards are on the table. Our listeners know what the deal is.
Yeah, for sure. All my connections too.
No, that's cool. That's cool that you had a support system and people who wanted to help you out with that.
Oh, hell yeah.
For sure.
So again, take me back to day one, man. What was day one like? What was like the first steps like? Where you're just like, oh shit, here we go. 5 months ahead of me, man. That had to have been fucking crazy.
Right.
It was crazy. Because you just have like no idea what it's going to be and you just sort of accept that.
Yeah.
Everybody tells you that like the experience of being on the PCT is going to be totally different than like what you kind of expect it to be. What you want out of it you probably won't get. You'll get some other thing, right?
Yeah.
It's very much everything about the everything about the PCT is some like stupid cliche life metaphor, and like, which is great, but like that's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like you won't get what you want, but you'll get what you need.
Yeah.
All that crap.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, so first day on the PCT. Let's see. So I flew down to San Diego the day before May 6th, and then I spent the night at these Trail Angels' house scouting Frodo.
Wait, Trail Angels?
So Trail Angels, that's what we call in like through hiker culture people who are like supporting hikers along the trail. Cool. So a lot of times it's like former hikers, or maybe somebody's like an impromptu trail angel where it's just a random awesome person who decides to give you a ride into town, or is like, hey, you look homeless, here's a bunch of food or whatever. Right? But yeah, so that's, and then that act of kindness is called trail magic. So these are this is the trail glossary for you guys.
So there's folks who are like signed up who are like, yeah, we're gonna take care of hikers on the way. Like you can stop in on our place or whatever.
Totally. Yeah, there are legendary spots on the PCT where you stop every year, like
Sweet
Casa de Luna, like near Agua Dulce or whatever, like this epic place where you walk in and they give you a Hawaiian t-shirt and they cook you taco salad, and it's like that happens every year on the PCT. You gotta stop at hiker or at
and they just put up everyone who comes through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wild
for sure. Yeah, you go back into the fucking trees and pitch your tents and paint a fucking rock.
I love
That's
it.
cool as hell.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take another one. I forget what.
Oh yeah,
So
you flew down to San Diego and you stayed with Frodo?
Yeah, Scout and Frodo. Yeah. So
I thought I heard that at the
sure. So these are their trail names. So they've hiked the PCT before, and in fact, I think Scout was at one point like the chairman of the board of the PCTA. He's like written the book on the PCT. But anyway, so these are like epic PCT people.
Yeah.
But one way they're well known, there are a couple. One way they're well known is that they like take in like 25 hikers or so a night and like put them up in their backyard.
Oh wow.
They cook you dinner and everything. It's amazing.
That's wild.
Yeah, give you a little speech about like taking care of the trail, and then they literally carted us off to the border the next morning.
What sweethearts. That's amazing.
I know, it's so cool. And there's just so much of that on trail. It's really cool. It's a whole like community for sure.
I mean, good. You know, I would expect as much, but that's so cool to hear that exists.
That's great.
For sure. So yeah, the next morning it was raining in San Diego, and they took us down to Campo, California, which is like the small town that's closest to the point at which the PCT starts. And yeah, there's a little monument there that's about like maybe 100 feet away from the fence. There's no wall there, but there's a fence.
There's a wall that somebody cut a hole in with a sawzall.
Right. Yeah, totally. So they did that, and we like took pictures and shit, and then everybody else filtered off, and I had to go touch the fence to make it official. I walked over to the fence and touched the fence, took a picture. Came back to the monument, had to take a piss. I pissed next to the monument.
You marked it.
I did mark the monument. I wouldn't admit that on the show. But no, then I started walking. It was exciting. It was like a cloudy day, and just kind of get moving.
Perfect.
Awesome.
I don't know.
What's the elevation where it starts? Is it pretty high up, or is it like?
No, it's fairly flat.
Right, because it's outside of San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Totally. Yeah, the first 700 miles of the PCT are like, it's the desert section of the PCT, so it's like pretty low level, though a lot of it's like high desert kind of thing too, but just relative to the other parts of the PCT that like might go over the Sierras or the Cascades, it's actually fairly low.
And 700 miles, so about how many miles a day do you do?
At the beginning, you're doing like around 20. At the beginning, maybe under 20, and then you kind of speed up to like 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you really get your trail legs in the Sierras and after.
Huh.
Which
So-
is
Yeah.
awesome too.
So the first 700 miles. So that's your first
So which-
like couple weeks, like 2-3 weeks. You're
It's
doing
your
this?
first like month and change.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole trail is like 2,659 miles long.
Right.
So you start out in the
right.
So it's
desert in the spring, and
Yeah.
for the first month and a half, you're just like trolling through the flats and like. No, it's cool, man.
Totally, it's gorgeous.
It's a good
like,
warm up.
Yeah, so the desert, so that's when you're encountering all like the heat and lack of water are your main challenges in the desert.
Yeah.
Not to state the obvious, yeah. So that's kind of what you're doing at the beginning there. It's really cool. So it's actually like, I would say like. One of the most beautiful parts of the trail. Like I really miss the desert sections. Like high desert is just, especially in like certain parts, it's just so gorgeous. And you know, classically the mountain sections are the best part of the PCT, but like I miss the desert a lot.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean,
Yeah.
having grown up in that biome and
Yeah,
now
exactly.
having been out of it for a while, like going back to it is just so amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Right, because you grew up in like Sisters
regarding the
area and stuff.
desert. Did you have to be militant about your water consumption?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you actually just only drink in scheduled ways instead of when you were thirsty, just because you only had a certain amount of water?
Totally. So there's actually a water report that we get that says like water sources along the trail, and so I know where the next water source is going to be at any time. And so then you only pack enough to get you to the next source, and then drink sparingly and carefully so that you'll make it to the next source. And then sometimes it's up in the air whether or not that source will be dried out next, right? Because it goes anywhere from like a river to just I'm walking along this trail and there's a source here, and the source is a little drip that's coming like slowly dripping down the mountain, and somebody's even like put a little leaf there so it'll all the little moisture will cup together and drip off into the, you know what I mean? So like sources like vary like depending on how good it is. So
Now,
you gotta be careful.
you say you get your sources reported, so I mean, so I'm guessing you come in and out of cell phone service a little bit, right?
Yeah, I forget how it was specifically in the desert, but yeah, you had surface here and there, but mostly it was like
So how do these reports come in?
right. Mostly it was people who were like writing in pen and paper what was happening at a certain source, just hikers that are ahead of you.
Oh.
And then
Because there's
they
all these
update that
waypoints and
online.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They waypoint at every source,
Uh-huh.
and then they just update that online once they got into town. Essentially.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So you get into
So
a
it's-
town, and then you can like kind of plot out your next, you know, however long,
Exactly.
and say like, all right,
Exactly.
well, like these are the points I'm going to hit.
Totally.
Wow.
And actually, so like 2017, right? So everybody's got smartphones on trail.
Right.
So Guthook is the app that everybody uses. So like Guthook actually is a guy, like a programmer, I guess, that like hiked the PCT back in the name. That's his trail
That's
name.
his trail name.
Of
Yep.
course,
Yep.
totally. And wrote this app, right? So like it's basically your GPS and gives you fucking everything. So we're basically cheating out there on the PCT these days.
I was gonna say, man. I was gonna say
That's
John
the
Muir
fucking-
didn't have no cell phone.
Yeah, you didn't.
yeah, even 15 years ago, this had to have been a way more rugged adventure. So.
No, yeah, Boot, my cousin, gives me shit all the time because we're
Yeah.
like, running around with GPSs, like no idea how to use a map and compass. Like it's pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Got to come clean on that one.
But like, how did you charge your phone? I mean, do you have one of those little hand charger dealios?
Yeah,
the
we
little like
bring
windy
battery packs.
things.
Or we just bring battery packs.
Or that too.
Yeah. Solar power isn't quite there. So if you're thinking about hiking a trail like this, don't bring like a solar charger. It's
Right.
the weight to efficiency ratio just like isn't good enough.
Way better to just bring battery packs and charge them when you're in town.
Yep, exactly.
Makes sense.
So what was like day to day like for that first month? I mean, you're walking, and then like, do you pitch a tent every night, and like, you got a sleeping bag and stuff like that, and like, you just decide when you're done. You're just like, all right, I'm done walking for the day. If I can set up.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people at cowboy camps in the desert, which means you just don't pitch a tent.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, you just roll a
sleep under
bag
the
out.
stars.
Yeah, under the stars.
I love sleeping under the stars.
I mean, when you can, for sure.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
buddy actually didn't bring a tent, and he only brought a hammock. And so then he was mostly cowboy camping in the desert because it was
Wow.
like harder
No
to find trees and
trees,
stuff.
yeah.
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 And there's more trees than you'd think, but like still harder
Sure,
to find
yeah.
trees than
Yeah.
the Sierras or whatever.
Huh.
But
That's cool,
yeah,
man.
yeah, those days were cool.
Hammock tents are now, in my opinion, the way.
Hammock tents.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell me about this because I haven't like looked into that.
I
too much.
didn't mean to sidetrack us too much, but my
Please do.
sister is she knows Jenny Brusso, who does I believe it's called Unlikely Hikers. It's this program for people who don't get out as much and have maybe thought that, like you said, this is something that is a person that I would want to be would do, but I'm not that person. She helps people become that person. And
Cool.
so one of her gifts to my sister was a hammock tent, and I believe it's a descendant of the bivouac tent.
Sure.
Maybe even is a bivouac tent. I'm not sure, but it's
But in the trees.
yeah. Well, it's you strap it between two trees and or on a frame if you want to do it that way. But like that's not going to really work out if you're hiking, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you're suspended above the ground, so you're not like sleeping on rocks. And
Totally.
For anyone who doesn't want to drag an air mattress around, that's a pretty good solution.
Nice.
I mean, that
Yeah,
does
dude,
seem sweet.
hammock camping is just it's so lovely. If I could do the PCT again, I would maybe do hammock camping because like
yeah.
the weight ratio works out. It's pretty decent. Like I think it's still better to do like a super fancy tent, but it's just so relaxing being in a hammock. And
Yeah.
if it's your thing, then like yeah, it's a nice way to spend the night.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
for sure.
Well, and, if you're a side sleeper, outdoors is going to be rough on you.
Yeah, exactly. Regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so for me personally, I gotta know too. Did you bring any weed or alcohol?
Yeah. Well, I didn't
That's what
bring
I'd
any-
need on at least my first nights,
Well,
man.
the weight ratio on alcohol is so fucked. Like,
Terrible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So you gotta
yeah.
bring like liquor,
You
but
always
that's still
bring-
terrible.
Always bring liquor in a plastic bottle
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of experience with that. Yeah, and weed. Yeah, weed was like the predominant intoxicant of choice.
Well, yeah, I mean,
as
like,
you would expect.
it's
for
real
a lot of
lightweight,
reasons.
Yeah.
Very lightweight. Totally.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, harder to find in California. In 2017, I think they were just starting to get. I forget when that crossed over, like into rec.
Yeah, I don't remember when they got.
Yeah, I
rid of
think
either,
they were just
but
getting
it's
it going
still
there,
pretty
but
young.
yeah.
Yeah,
for sure, in
at the time
2017.
it was hard to get. It
Yeah.
was. I think it was still like you had to have a green card or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could find it from here and there. I didn't take anything down on the first
Yeah.
day because airport and all that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
These days I do edibles or something. But
So how often? Okay, so again in that first month too, how often did you stop off? Like, was it every like 5 days or whatever? You'd re-up on like food and whatnot.
yeah,
Or-
every 3 to 5 days or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the PCT just is going to cross these highways as it goes north, east-west highways, and you just
Right.
get on one.
Yeah.
And so there's guidebooks literally that'll be like, oh yeah, so the best town that has like grocery store, cheap hotel, like all the things you're looking for. Basically, you just got a checklist, right? Of like, okay, I need to take a shower, I need to resupply, and there's sort of gradients
God,
there,
those
right?
showers must have been a dream, huh?
So good. Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, shave every once in a while, so good.
Yeah, shave, yeah. Oh
yeah.
god.
So basically,
Shit in
yeah,
a toilet. Just all those modern things, yeah.
oh yeah, very nice. So yeah, every 3 to 5 days or so,
Yeah.
I would say.
It's cool. What did you eat? Because you didn't bring, if you're packing light, you didn't bring a stove, right?
So I actually did bring a stove.
No way.
I brought it with me.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh,
say
shit.
it's in the box. Show us
All
the
right.
stuff.
you want?
All right, we're taking pictures.
Man, these artifacts are working out.
Refer to the show notes, folks.
So this is my favorite piece of gear. This is my pot.
Dude.
Yeah,
Dude, that's a sick
All right.
pot.
totally. I love this pot. It's got a little drainage thing on the front, so you can like.
Strainer.
Yeah, exactly. You can cook your pasta and strain out the.
Oh shit. You were cooking pasta in this thing?
Well,
He doesn't
only
fuck around.
sometimes,
All right, but you could. Okay.
But yeah.
Wait,
And
and
then-
so.
It's
Okay.
getting there.
That's my stove.
Yeah. That's
Whoa.
what I'm
Hold
talking
on.
about.
Yeah, dude.
Here we go.
So this is a backpacking stove. So it's very small. It's like smaller than a beer can.
Yeah, for
folded
listeners
up.
at home.
Yeah, again,
That's the only
so
thing I got
if
a
you're like
comparison,
driving
but-
in your car, I'm so sorry, but
Yeah.
like just go to the show notes when you get a chance
Well, and-
because this is super interesting.
For folks at home, it's about 3 inches tall, folded up. Like,
Yeah.
it's the tiniest stove.
Whoa.
Then you just fold out these little wings, which serve as essentially like the stovetop that you'd put your pot
Yeah,
on.
that's your range right there.
Uh-huh.
And then the whole unit itself will screw into the fuel can. It's like an isobutane
Right.
sort of thing that you see at REI or whatever.
Okay, so you got
And then that
a
also-
big fuel can like sticking off of this.
Exactly, and it's actually right below it, so that serves as the base.
Yeah.
Totally.
Supports
Okay.
it. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Wild. That is so cool. Okay,
Yeah,
here,
so
let me grab one
it's-
more pic of that.
It's essentially just a burner with some extensions that form a attachment for the pot.
Yep.
Then it's just like this nice little torch.
All right.
Totally.
So what kind of stuff were you cooking, man?
So mostly what we do is just like boil hot water and then just like cook other shit with it. So like pasta kind of stuff. We do a lot of ramen, a lot of like Idaho and instant potatoes.
There you go.
That kind of stuff. The green packages, like the Nor sides.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Oh.
KWR.
Right.
Yeah, a lot
Do
of
I?
harkens back to
Yeah,
Shout out to my old roommate. You know who you are. We lived on those, and we
Yep.
were not on a trail.
totally. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
that shit's great. So hey, well, while we're talking about it, what was your favorite North side?
Oh, dude. I'm trying to
That
remember
cheddar
now.
broccoli, maybe, or the
You know what?
Parmesan?
The spiral. Yeah, actually, because I still eat those from time to time. But yeah, like the spiral like cheddar broccoli is pretty fucking good.
yeah.
It's kind of funny though because they're all a little bit the same, and so I just douse them in hot sauce no matter what they are.
Right.
So it's just
Okay.
spicy noodles at the end of the day. But
And, like, I don't know if it fits your palate, but did you bring hot sauce to like help you with those Idahoan instant potatoes?
I would need a fucking little bottle of something.
Yeah,
I actually didn't bring a whole lot of add-ons, honestly. A lot of people did. So my buddy, who was in my trail family, Spice Merchant, got his name because he
I
brought a
love
lot
it.
of spices and such.
The spice must flow.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, Zach, he's from Wales. Good dude.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Welshman.
Welshman, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, one of our international folks in our trail family.
Now, what's up with this this cloth that was in your
Oh, yeah,
pot?
yeah. Totally. So this is my trail bandana, which you can also take a picture
Yep.
of if you like.
Yep.
So every hiker gets one of these at Casa de Luna, actually, which was that
Shut
place
up,
that I was mentioning earlier.
Frodo and
No, so that's right at the beginning.
okay.
Casa de Luna is like just north of Agua
Got it.
Dulce
Okay.
at like
Sweetwater.
Oh, that was one of the stop-offs that they give you tacos and Hawaiian shirts. and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, okay,
Right, that's
cool.
Casa de Luna. So that's where you get your trail bandana. So you got to make it like 450 miles to get your bandana.
Sweet.
But this bandana's dope. It actually has like all of the different stops on the PCT listed, along with like
oh, killer.
yeah, along with
Whoa.
like mileage and shit.
Whoa, that's
Damn,
cool
that
as
is
well.
clutch.
Yeah, Casa de Luna right there, Anderson's.
At 478.2 miles.
Yeah.
All right.
That's really cool.
That is super cool. And and then the little breaks here are by state. So that's Cali, that's Oregon, that's Washington.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like
The Cali leg is so long.
I know, dude.
Cali is so long. Having just driven back from Southern California. Jesus Christ, it's long.
know.
We spent so many hours on the road.
Yeah.
That's
it's-
70 miles per hour.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I was not
You do all
expecting
these
California to be as long
weird
as it
dog
was.
legs in Cali too. Like you get
Oh,
into
yeah.
Oregon, it's almost a straight shot. But like,
For sure.
what is that? Like the Chocolate Mountains or the San Gabriels? Like
I actually forget what this zag is at the beginning,
anyway,
but
our
yeah.
listeners at home have no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, like that. A
California's
lot of mileage in California.
Yeah, like 3/5 of the hike, basically. So the sections of the PCT are basically divided into desert at the beginning, the Sierra Nevada mountains in like the middle of California, Northern California. Yeah, Sierras are amazing.
Yeah.
And then Oregon and Washington are just their own sections. So
Right.
that's kind of
Makes
everything.
sense.
And then Oregon
California's
and
like
Washington
most
are
of
just like the Cascades all the way up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now, where do you hit the Cascades? Is it just below the Oregon border, or no? 'Cause
That's a good question. Actually, I'm not sure technically where they say the Cascades begin. I don't know. I would just say Oregon and Washington, but
fair.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
and
you pass
my
by-
Oregon and Washington got kind of wonky, so we'll
So,
get into it later. But,
based on this bandana, do you pass by Mount Shasta?
yeah, Mount Shasta. What? That's Northern California,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Totally. Yep.
Nice.
I've always found
Pass
that
by Mount
mountain
Shasta.
just so beautiful.
It's like right beyond.
Yeah,
it's fucking
yeah,
gorgeous.
totally.
If I remember correctly, it was like a little obscured when I was there because I was like starting to get into some wildfires at that point.
Well, local lore suggests that it always has a cloud cap because there's aliens.
Yes. Is that true?
That's at least that is what someone made up on the way past Mount Shasta when I was in the car.
So I've driven past that mountain quite a handful of times, and it almost does always have a cloud.
Oh no,
cap.
it's literally always had a cloud cap every time I've seen it.
It's crazy.
And there's
dude.
tons of like awesome photos of Mount Shasta with a cloud cap.
Yeah. No, it's gorgeous. It's such a gorgeous mountain.
Cannot
and that whole
confirm
area
or
is
deny.
fucking cool.
Yeah. Well, and then so the full statement was that the natives actually had lore about the cloud cap, and then modern drugged out hippies had inserted the
Yes.
aliens
Naturally.
to
Naturally.
native lore.
Because that's what they do.
It's just a continuation, man.
For real.
Anyway.
So tell me about some of the trials and tribulations of that first month. Like, what was the stuff that you learned the hard way, like right off the bat? Like, because I imagine, like, as things go, you sort of get, you sort of like get the hang of certain things and like the patterns of certain things. But what was some stuff that like you encountered right off the bat that you're like, oh fuck, dude?
Yeah.
All my research, all my planning, and like, shit. Like here's the problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. So, some of the first things, I didn't have a whole lot of like major injury stuff at the beginning. I got honestly really lucky. I had some like runner's knee for a while, and some guy told me how to fix that by like tying a bandana like just kind of below your patella and just cinching that up.
Okay.
Yeah, that worked out okay. But honestly, I didn't have a lot of injury at the beginning. I got pretty lucky in a lot of ways.
No, and actually, that's a question too.
Yeah.
How often did you run into just other trail folk?
Oh, so super frequently.
Just all the time?
So like I say, like it's like 50 people a day in a 24-hour period, right? So you're basically surrounded by people at the beginning of the trail. Like you could sit down on trail and guarantee somebody will walk by you in an hour.
Oh,
But
wow.
probably somebody will walk by you in 10 minutes, 30 seconds, you know,
Right.
whatever,
Oh, wow.
right? Because it's like you're near a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's when you're like the community of the trail is at its most and stuff, which is actually kind of cool, right? So like
Right.
that's where you start meeting the people who you're gonna like hang out with on trail for a while.
Yeah, folks
So
are going to
that's
just
where
keep
I'm at
running
now.
into and
Yeah.
seeing. Yeah, that's cool.
After like a few weeks, basically like things have like shaken out, right? Like I saw a few people on my first day who I never saw again because they were way faster than me or like a little slower than me or whatever. But like after stuff shakes out, like you're pretty much just hiking with folks that are like about your same speed,
Right.
and so you see them like off and on again and stuff. So
That's cool.
yeah, like we kind of got like a crew of folks together, sort of in the desert, and. Oh, something I maybe have not mentioned, like, so 2017 was, like, pretty crazy. The timing of the PCT is, like, the biggest thing, right? Like, trying to get through it in the amount of time that you have allotted.
Right.
And so that's all about, like, getting through, you got to get through the North Cascades before the new winter comes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's obviously the big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you got to like be most of the way through Washington when September kicks in, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally. Like, yeah, that's ideal. Yeah.
Right,
Or
so it's
like
a bit of a-
mid-September. So
It's a
yeah.
bit of a
Sure.
race against the clock. You don't want
Totally.
to dick around.
You don't
Yeah.
want to dick around. You do anyway, but you don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you start too early, you also run into the possibility of maybe hitting snow in the mountains. And
Exactly. That was exactly the next thing I was going to say, is that like your other barrier is old snow from the previous winter in the Sierra Nevadas.
Right.
This is all going northbound, by the way. Like, if you're going south, it's harder for other reasons, or same reason but harder.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
exactly. Oh god, I can't imagine starting north.
Yeah,
Fuck.
because you're starting in the North Cascades would be fucking insane.
Yeah.
And some people do it. A lot of people do it. But like, what's nice going northbound is you get a lot of time in the desert to just like get your trail legs.
Uh-huh.
And so then once you hit the Sierra Nevadas, it's like what, mid-July, and a lot of the snow is melted, and you
Yeah.
can just kind of cruise through. So the trouble with our year is we had the highest snowfall in the
Yup.
Sierra Nevadas on record.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Remember
except
that.
for like since '82 or something like that.
Sure, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
just dumped, and it dumped
It
here
seriously
too.
dumped.
You know, but like,
Yeah, it did.
wow.
Totally. So we were like all pretty freaked out about that. And California had like a crazy drought before that, right? So like all of the information we were learning online, all like the blogs and stuff, and people who'd done it recently were dealing with like walking through the Sierras with no snow at all, almost in like a negative way, because like, it was like, where's all the fucking snow in these mountains?
Well, and also, you know, like a lot of springs have dried up because there's no snow melt. You know, like that was, I'm sure, a huge issue then. You
Right.
know?
Totally. Yeah, they had to deal with like the other side of it.
Right.
Whereas in our year, we were really concerned about being able to enter the Sierras at all safely.
And trail washouts and like, fuck,
Yeah,
you name it.
totally. The two big things are like being able to get over passes, right, in the Sierras, because you're just walking through mountains the hard way, like south to north, right? Like, so like just continuing to go over mountains and over mountains. So it was like you had to get over a pass every day. So being able to do that safely and not die because there's like a shitload of snow and stuff. Being able to like self-arrest with an ice axe and stuff like that.
Right.
And then the thing that's even more dangerous, which is all that snow makes the runoff higher, and so the creek water levels are higher. So some of these creeks which pass the PCT and there's no bridge for are now like actually really dangerous.
Right. Like it's a current that's more than past your knees and it's swift.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Did you have to cross bodies of water? Like,
Yeah,
just
like
hold
that.
your shit above your head and just sort of like...
There's no holding my shit above my head, but it got deep enough. So it doesn't really take a whole lot. Like starting to get up to your thighs in some of these creeks is enough to, especially for like a skinny ass guy like me, like it's enough to start like pulling you downstream.
Yeah.
Well,
and
like
if
balancing on river stones with a pack and that kind of a flow, like forget about
Exactly.
it. You know?
Exactly that, right? Because you're trying to find your next step, but you're trying to make sure, because you know the next step's going to be just a little bit deeper,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's sketch.
Totally. Yeah, in fact, I mean, I guess now's as good a time as any to say, like, a couple people actually died my year in the PCT
Oh my
from
God.
Wow,
from
really?
getting swept away in creeks. Two people.
Fuck.
Yeah, so it was very serious, and like we knew it was going to be like that going in.
What is the...
Did they start before you did, or were they...
They were within a week of when I was in the Sierras.
Oh my God.
So like it was basically when I was.
What
in
is
Sierras,
the
yeah.
fatality rate? I mean, if 3,000 people embark every year or
Right.
whatever, like, I mean,
It's
is
actually-
it, one a year or...
It's relatively low from what I understand. At least like from my research before I went in, it was relatively low.
Yeah.
But yeah, our year I think maybe 3 people passed away. I think
Wow.
like an older dude in the desert area I think had some sort of like cardiovascular like heart issue kind of thing. And then those 2 that we lost in the Sierras. So yeah, it sucks. Like I knew people
boy.
that knew those people basically.
Yeah,
It was like
fuck.
my proximity to it. Yeah, definitely. And I had like a couple like vaguely close calls in the Sierras, but yeah, that gives away the thing which I think I was trying to get to, which was
let's get to that.
Yeah, so,
Let's get to the close
we
calls.
should probably keep moving here, man. We're like 700 miles in,
Right.
But but yeah, so I met a lot of people in the desert that I then. So we didn't even know if we were going to go through the Sierras. Basically, like that's kind of where we were getting into the PCT. It was even before I even started. Was like we might have to skip or flip. Which skipping is like just literally skipping the Sierras, taking a bus up to like the north side of the mountains and then continuing to walk. Flipping maybe be like I'm gonna fly up to Vancouver, BC, and just start walking south.
Oh shit!
Wow.
And then like walk all the way through the Sierras once the snow's melted.
It's like then I did the whole thing technically,
Yeah.
just not
Right.
in
Well, that's the thing.
the
is, like,
order.
yeah, we all wanted to do it in like the most pure possible way.
Yeah.
But like
That's the idea.
Once you're on trail, especially in a year like this, shit got way messier. And so
Yeah.
before we even began the trail, we all knew that it was going to be like a messy year like that, and just
Wow.
like we're going to have the experience we're going to have, and let's see, right?
Right.
So I met a group of people. Well, I met a lot of people, but like once we kind of got to Kennedy Meadows, which is like the cutoff from the desert to the Sierras, we got to the point where we actually decided we wanted to, like whether or not we were going to go into the Sierras, right? That's like the decision point.
Right.
So me and that group of, I think like 8 other people. Yeah, I think it's 8. I think I'm including everybody there. We all decided we wanted to we were going to start the Sierras together and actually like take on the first few passes and the first few creeks like together to sort of like increase our safety.
That's cool.
Yeah, because we were all pretty like inexperienced. One guy from our group, Songbeard from New Jersey, he had like done the AT, but other than that, none of us had done like a super long trail before, and had like high snow conditions and stuff like that. So anyway, so we entered the Sierras together.
Do other people? I mean, I assume some people like do the thing in groups or duos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many? Like, what did it seem like? How many people did like solos, duos, trios, groups, or whatever?
Yeah, most people were solo, but there was a handful of people who I met on trail who were in like a group.
Okay.
Who were in a group that they'd started with, right? Like a couple or like a couple brothers from Switzerland.
Yeah.
That I met on trail.
We're
doing it together, like actually starting the trail together. But in terms of like, you pair up on group and you pair up on trail and like into groups and out of groups kind of throughout the trail for sure.
So you formed a fellowship.
Exactly.
And you decided to attempt the pass.
Yes, exactly.
Now, and so you chose the pass instead of the Mines of Moria, is what I mean. Okay.
Yeah. That might have even been filmed in the Sierras. Probably was, considering how close it was to Hollywood or whatever. But yeah, so we did that, and we entered the Sierras in 2017, and not sure where to go from there. But
I mean, was it chill? Was it
like,
as gnarly as you expected?
How gnarly was it?
Yeah, I guess that's the obvious next thing. Thank you. You guys are great interviewers.
This is what we're here for, man. This is what we do.
Literally our role.
You're very good at it. So it was. So I would say like the snow aspect of it wasn't as gnarly as I thought it was going to be. It was still difficult, right? Like these passes we were going over, especially like Forester Pass, which is the highest point on the PCT, and it's the first pass you go over.
The highest points in the Sierras?
Yeah.
That I would not have guessed.
Yeah,
that's right.
I guess that.
I think that's right. People out there.
I mean, dude, we're taking your word for it.
Okay, well, everything I say is gospel here.
Absolutely. You are our expert.
But yeah, so that was like the first pass we went over, and yeah, it's dangerous and crazy.
The first pass is the highest point?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck!
Totally. So you're like scaling this huge switchbacks, which like, that's all snow covered, right? Like all the actual switchbacks that get you up the peak, right?
Oh, Christ.
Are all snow covered. So, but other people have gone in front of you, right? So there's footsteps, and so you just got to kind of follow their footsteps up this fucking hill and try to pass it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's exciting.
An exercise in fucking
putting
your faith in your fellow humans.
Yeah,
totally.
For real.
But yeah, we made it to the top of Forester. I believe we did that on Canada Day, which was cool because we had a dude from Vancouver in our group.
Rad.
Shout out to Stranger Danger.
Wait, all right. When did you get your name?
Oh, I got that in the desert, so I guess do we have to back
no, I want to hear it.
Tell us how you got your name. Yeah.
Most people get their name in the desert. So let's see. It was just south of Big Bear Lake in California, maybe around mile like 200 something in there. So I'm just like walking along trail. I've had I think Stranger Danger again was like running out of food. I think I gave him my like half a thing of peanut butter, half a jar of peanut butter,
right.
And a Snickers bar because I'm a good guy.
All right,
Snickers bar, gotta claim that. And yeah, we're like 13 miles out of town, right? I've got plenty of food, but I'm down to my shitty food, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
13 miles away, like you're about to get to town in 13 miles?
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Right, that was unclear. Yeah, but 13 miles until we get to town, so like 4 days out of town, I guess would be the way to say it. Or so. Anyway, yeah, so I'm just like walking along trail. We're like in the literal middle of the woods, and I come across on the side of the trail this giant bear box. So essentially like a dumpster, right?
Right.
But just that is sealed to prevent bears from getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
And right next, and the bear box itself is like full of food. So it's like a really cool thing. So this is what we would call trail magic, like I said before.
Nice.
Like the local hostel is like stocking up this fucking dumpster with like Costco soda and Costco Oreos
Whoa.
for like hikers as we go by. Yeah,
That's fucking cool.
really, really cool, right? And then, so anyway, right next to this bear box is a couch. It's like a shitty ass couch that they'd put there next to this bear box, just for people to chill on, which is great,
that's
right?
sweet.
Like
Right.
hiking in the woods for 4 days, I can
Yeah.
lay on a fucking
You're
couch.
like, oh my
and
god, a
have
couch.
Couch with an
Yeah.
Oreo and a soda.
Dr. Shasta or
Lovely.
whatever. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm like laying on this couch and like doing my thing. Like the sun's just starting to set, and I realized like I haven't really found a place to stay for the night. So I'm like, okay, and I'm looking on Guthook, trying to find a place to pitch a tent. I couldn't really find any like spots in the area, and then I was like, oh man, I bet this couch is a pull-out couch. Like I bet this is a hide-a-bed.
Oh,
And so
shit.
I got off and I pulled the seats off, and sure enough, it was.
Get the fuck
And I
out.
pulled that bed out right into the trail itself, essentially, and
Yes.
I slept on that night.
Oh my god.
Yes.
You slept on a pull-out couch on trail.
Yeah, that had been in the woods for like years and years, probably. Man, that was
Sure.
the nastiest, fucking trashiest couch
Oh, I bet, dude.
that I've ever seen in my life.
Don't doubt it, but god damn it, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So I slept
I'm
on
the
that.
king of the couch.
Yes, king of the woods, baby, best seat in the house. And so my buddy Pickles gave me the trail name Pull Out.
Also,
Yeah, so I'm Pull Out.
also pickles.
Yeah, Pickles gave me Pull Out.
As a Metalocalypse fan, I definitely agree.
How did I not hear that you were called Pull Out
Yeah,
until
man.
now? Maybe there's a reason I did not hear that you were called Pull Out until now. God damn, that's awesome.
Yep, so I'm Pull Out.
All right.
That's a fucking great name.
I love it.
Totally. Yeah,
That
it's a
is
very
so
like
amazing.
hiker trash name, so I was
Yep.
pretty proud of it. Yeah, that's the way trail names work. Is like other people. The tradition is that someone else gives you a trail name,
Well, yeah.
and that you don't have to take it. So you might go through a number of names before you decide on one that you like. But yeah, Pull Out was the one that I decided on. I guess
Dude,
that says something.
rock it, man.
No,
Yeah.
You don't get to pick your nickname.
I
That's
know that.
bullshit.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Damn, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Pull Out. Take us back to. Okay, so you crested the highest pass.
You're about to crest the highest pass, if
Yeah.
I recall, yeah.
Well, we did.
Okay,
You did.
There. That's the
Yeah,
And
there
you
you go. And you did.
unexciting end of that. But yeah, we crested Forester Pass, and we were in the middle of the Sierra. So I think what I was saying last was that the snow ended up being not as crazy as I expected it to be. It was difficult, but like if we had entered the Sierras earlier, I don't think it would have been much worse, I guess. If
Yeah.
that makes
Okay.
sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just more snow. As long as you got somebody else who went before you, there's footsteps ahead of you. It's dangerous.
Now,
but like
how deep do you estimate
Yeah.
the holes in the snow were? Are we talking about like up to your knees, like ankle depth, like
the
how deep
snow
is the
level,
snow?
the snow itself, like all the way down to the earth.
No, I'm just talking about like
How much were you post holing?
Yeah, like, when are you
subjectively,
stepping in?
like, how much? How much you post holing?
Depends on the time of day, but like, yeah, like sort of like mid to late day, you could be post holing like up to your, I don't know, like getting close to your knees or whatever.
Yeah, that's legit.
The,
Like,
the
that's
real
hard work.
shit
Wow.
was like the hard snow that had been there, the hard old snow that had been there forever that had formed these like sun cups. Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
absolutely.
Yeah, where it's these like little peaks. It just melts in a weird formation where it's just got these deep cups and these sort of
Yep.
peaks, and it's just like that everywhere. And
Yeah.
you kind of either have to walk on the tops of the peaks, or you have to step in the cups. And either way, it's just
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Slippery
real.
and rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the way the snow was.
Wild, man. Wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the creeks, which were, like I said before, sort of the most dangerous part, were all right. So we started doing it where like we were literally just hiking in a line, and then when we got to a creek, we'd all like stand together and just decide how we were going to cross it, and just like carefully do it together. And then we sort of loosened
Good.
up more and more as we went. But
Sure, but those first few experiences, like
Right.
taking it slow, having a group for safety, like, I commend you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it was a really good call. It was
Yeah.
definitely hard to do. Like, I was sort of more like the type A type that was just like, yeah, we're going to all do this together. And then, but dude, it was just like, you know, it's a group of like like stupidly independent people,
Right.
Like, and myself included, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is just like impossible to corral, and so we're all just like, nah, man, I'm ready to go. We're like cruising through, and I'm just like, no, man, we all got to do it together. And like, we definitely had like family drama in the Sierras for sure. A lot of it about like creek crossings and shit. By the end of the Sierras, we'd all kind of like, through our various family dramas and stuff, and loving schisms, I suppose, in our group, had like split to the point where we were all like kind of independently taking the Sierras at our own speed and stuff.
Sure.
Once
Yeah.
we sort of figured out how to do it.
Now-
But it was super helpful to be like together at the beginning.
How like percentage wise, if you could just guess, how much time did you spend with other people and like solo? Was it like 50-50
At this part
or
of the trail,
like, well,
because it really depends on the part of the trail.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
you were saying
Well,
towards the end
give
you were
me-
alone all the time. So
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
Exactly.
give me the overall, I guess, and then give me like
I
little
literally, I
breakdowns.
honestly have no idea the overall, because
Yeah.
the beginning was like so people focused and
Yeah.
there was
it
less.
sounds like
Okay.
it was very social. in
so
the
it trickles
Sierras.
off.
Yeah,
as
and
it
like
goes.
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm an introvert, so I was the come in and hang out with the group, but then like kind of go do my own thing. I think Songbeard said I was like the tomcat of the group, where I'd like
Yeah.
I'd leave, but I'd
Nice.
always come back home.
Yeah,
You know?
could always count on you being around. Yeah,
Yeah, you know how I am,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
It's
I
the
do.
way I am here too.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of where I was there.
Okay,
But,
that's
so
cool.
I'd usually hike alone, but often would camp with other people, and that's pretty common, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
That
Like,
makes sense.
Everyone just sort of you go off on your own, but then everyone reaches a point, and then everyone
Right, because
comes
you
together.
kind of want that
Totally.
solitude to gather your thoughts during the day while you're walking. But like, man, camping alone at night can be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, were there
I tell
any
you,
were there any
again,
nighttime weird things, like any animal like things? Like, did you hear like bears or mountain lions or anything?
I think I ever
like
heard a
weirded you
bear
out?
at night, heard a mountain lion. I didn't hear anything too terrifying at night or have anything too crazy happening to me animal wise. I definitely had some like mouse issues up in Washington, where they were like getting in my tent and shit.
Oh,
shit.
Yeah, totally. So like my tent at that point was just like completely fucked.
Really?
Yeah, like I tried to cook in my tent once. Don't do that.
Oh no!
Burned a hole in the top of my
Oh,
tent.
no!
Yeah, it was very dumb. Very dumb. Don't do that. But I don't know why I did that. But anyways,
Damn it, Mark!
I'm not a smart man.
It's it's how we learn.
Well, and it's dangerous too, because like that fuel I think like sinks. So anyway, just don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's heavier
your
than
math checks out.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, heat rises.
Yep.
But
And-
anyway, so
Like I said, I'm pretty hypertrophic. But yeah, so I had some holes in my tent, suffice to say.
so you made it through the Sierras.
Yes.
And you said that at that point, your group had kind of splintered, and were you
To some degree, yeah.
like, did you have like folks that you were trying to camp with, or was it just kind of whoever you ended up with? Like,
I think toward the end of the Sierras and in Northern California, I'd gotten to the point where I was pretty much solo.
okay,
I was trying to make it to Medford, which is in Southern Oregon, as you guys obviously know.
Yep.
By a certain date.
okay,
So Shelby is originally from Medford, as I'm sure she's mentioned on this podcast.
Oh,
before.
yes.
Episode
Maybe
2,
once or
I think,
twice.
maybe. Yeah.
the history of White City.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So I was trying to head to Medford to be there by a certain point. So I was booking it in Northern California, and so
Oh, okay.
I was like pretty solo at that point. Plus the other thing which came up. So our year we ended up like nicknaming the year of ice and fire. Because as you guys
That's
probably
right.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the smoke that year. was
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, so like all the crazy, and I haven't caught up with it like recently, but at least in 2017, like it was a particularly heavy wildfire year.
Oh yeah.
You guys remember like everybody in Oregon, right? Like the Eagle Creek fire, which happened
Right.
in the gorge. That was
Absolutely.
2017.
That was
right?
that year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when everything in Canada was burning and we had ash falling from the sky here in Portland,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was fucked.
Yeah, it's insane. Like so because I started the trail just like a little bit later because of all that snow in the Sierras, it like made sense to do that.
Sure.
And I mean, all of us that I was hiking with did.
Well, it sounds like it was a good idea.
I mean, it's hard to say.
Oh no, that's right. You were saying it.
It may not have mattered.
Well,
Yeah.
so here's the thing, like, this is getting too technical probably, but like snow wise, if the snow was higher, I don't think it would have been too big a deal. And by the time I ended up getting into the Sierras, it was peak runoff. Like, just like, it's sort of like a graph or whatever.
Oh,
like,
I see what you're saying. So, like...
the most melting was happening while I was in there, so if I'd gone
creeks
earlier...
were actually more dangerous because of when you left.
Yeah.
Maybe hence, like, the fatality sort of...
Well, and fuck, I mean, like, the taper off of that is much more gradual than the run-up. So I think what you're saying is if you had started earlier... Not only would the snow have been just as manageable, but the creeks would have been more manageable by a significant degree.
That's my theory.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Totally. So, yeah. But anyway, the way it played out is that I did start the Sierras late, and so by the time we were out of the Sierras, it was later in the season than we wanted it to be.
Right.
Which means you get caught behind wildfires.
Fuck.
Yeah. Which means
which is just a season now.
Yeah, totally.
it was. We didn't get it last year.
We didn't.
What did we not?
I mean, there were fires last year.
Well, there's fires every year, but I mean, like we didn't have a season of smoke.
Like in 18?
Yeah.
Well, like we didn't here in Portland.
Sure.
There were fires last year.
No, I get it. But I'm saying, like, for the 2 years previous, there was literal ash falling from the sky.
Yeah,
So,
it's true. But for people hiking the PCT, there were probably relevant fires last year.
Fair enough.
Because they just seem to happen every year now.
Right. I haven't kept up with it as much, but it's definitely become like a thing, which is something
well,
you have to
especially
plan
in
around
California,
now.
Like if you pop out of the Sierras too late, then there's bound to be something happening in Northern California,
Yeah,
like Shasta was just burned to fuck one of those years. I don't remember which one it was.
It might have been mine. So around like Etna, California, which I think is just south of Shasta.
Yeah.
We had a big fire, and that was the first one we encountered. The first trail closure we encountered.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Where they just shut down part of the PCT because of the fires, right? So
and that was your year?
That was my year.
Oh shit.
So this is right. So
what did you do?
Exactly.
that was exactly what I was gonna say, but I figured he was getting there.
All right, yeah.
So this is we're getting into the shit that defines my year on the PCT.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
This is where shit starts to get we start to go off road.
Oh god, like the heroes. This
crazy.
is like following the hero's journey. I love it. Like you've got all your time in the fucking the elder forest to fucking hone your skills, and then you get just fucking launched into fucking Mordor, dude.
Right.
I just love how we keep bringing it back to Lord of the Rings.
It's just
so good.
No, dude, thru-hiking's like that, man. People can't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
every
walking
other
a
person's
long
name
way,
is
so
Frodo,
it
right?
just-
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What do you do when you hit roadblocks?
Yeah, so there's actually this was not even the first time we hit a roadblock on the PCT. So actually even earlier in the trail in the desert, say you come across a spot where there's some endangered frog or whatever that the PCTA is trying to protect, right? Yeah. So then for some of these where they've actually had trail closures for years, they'll even make alternate routes around the trail where they'll leave there's signs on the trail itself saying go around this area, and so you can keep walking and keep getting what we call continuous footsteps from Mexico to Canada. You're not hiking on the PCT itself, but you are still walking around it.
Right.
You're still walking north,
Exactly. Yeah. So where it gets hard is when you start to get to these spots where unexpected closures happen. So like we were saying, there was this fire that was happening in Northern California around the town of Etna, where they'd shut down parts of the PCT, and they're pretty conservative about it, right? So if you are anywhere in the vicinity of the fire, they'll shut it down to make sure that nobody gets hurt, which has the consequence of making it so that frequently parts of the PCT get shut down, and it makes it really difficult to continue getting continuous footsteps if that's what you're looking for out of the trail.
Right. You got to go way around that.
Yeah.
Well,
if you're going to keep walking.
And I think what you were saying earlier is that some people decide to either skip or flip. So some people are maybe choosing to use transportation to get a little further up so that they can keep hiking together.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And that all has to do, so there's this big culture on trail of hike your own hike, HYOH acronym. Acronym.
Yeah. We coined it
make
here.
up all sorts of
you
words
heard it
tonight.
here first.
My crowd rock
New
band.
word. Acronym.
So that's an acronym we use on trail. that's just very much about like hiking the hike the way you want to. So like kind of at the beginning, everybody's like, I want to complete this challenge of hiking 2,659 miles all on my own, specifically just on the PCT, all the way from Mexico to Canada without missing a step. And that's the only thing I care about. And then once you're on the trail for a while, I think you recognize like why you're actually there.
Right.
You know?
And I mean, like, if that doesn't matter to you, if the experience is what matters to you, then like, yeah, fuck it, hop a bus for like,
Exactly.
50, 100 miles just to get to the spot where it makes more sense.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And if your buddy who you've been hiking with for like 500 miles is like making the decision to do that, then that influences your decision too, you know?
Absolutely.
It's like maybe that's why you're there now, you know?
I'm damn straight.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Fuck it,
that's
man.
cool.
You're,
Yeah.
you're there for the adventure, and whatever form that takes is what it is.
Well, and I imagine your
100%.
goals change as you go.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And our year was like particularly weird in that aspect, especially those of us who kind of got caught behind these wildfires, where like we had to make those decisions pretty frequently, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So some people were like flipping all the way up to Canada. So once we hit northern Washington, well, I mean, dude, even like before the Sierras, people were flipping up to Canada. But like
Right,
we said
'cause of the
before,
snow? Yeah.
because of the snow. But like with the wildfires, some people were flipping up to like northern Oregon, or like mid Oregon, or Canada and walking south, or like whatever, right? Some people were just getting off trail completely. But it was all sort of your decision about what you wanted to do with this wacky fucking crazy adventure, which now we were on, that was like kind of different from the PCT even.
Yeah.
You know? That's sort of what we were presented with as we were getting around sort of like the midpoint of the PCT, which is like Northern California.
Well, and so like, what did you ultimately decide to do?
Totally. So what I decided to do, I was like really excited about the challenge of the PCT, honestly. At the point at which I had always made choices which made it so at any point I could say I walked here from the fence, right? Like I walked here
You
from
touched the fence.
Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Continuous footsteps.
Right. Yeah.
fuck
I haven't missed a step from here to there.
Yeah.
And that felt really good, and I liked that. So I thought, let's just keep doing that. I want to keep playing on hard mode, right?
Rad.
And if I fail, no big deal. Like I just want to like keep walking and see how far I can get.
Go as far as you can go. Yeah.
Yeah, go as far as I can go until the trail kicks me off, right?
Dude, cheers to hard mode. Hell
Cheers.
Yeah, fucking A, man. Yeah. Like it. I like it.
So at this particular point, I just so what I do like is get on Google Maps, essentially find like trails, like side trails that weren't the PCT, and then side roads and stuff like that would go around the closure and then connect back up with the PCT further
Right.
north.
BLM roads, fire roads, that kind of
100%.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly, that sort of stuff. And then find places to camp along the way, maybe get into a town, stay at a hotel, find a place to resupply, and then get back up the trail.
Yeah.
But at this point, we were like completely off the guidebook, so like that stuff got harder and harder as we
Well,
kept
yeah,
doing
because
that.
you're doing your own research. You're pulling Google Maps. Like no one has hiked that route before.
Exactly.
Or at least if they have, they wasn't like entered in the annals. You know, like
Totally. Yeah, I can conclusively say like nobody has hiked the trail, quote unquote, that I hiked that
That's kinda
particular
cool.
year because
That's kinda cool.
it got real wonky.
yeah.
Yeah.
No one's hiked the road outside of Doris that I have.
Right, exactly. Yeah, totally. Nobody took a pit stop in Doofer. Doofer, Oregon. I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's a great fucking place.
Yeah, that's some Oregon deep cuts right there.
For sure, dude. Yep. But yeah, so I like hiked around Etna, got back on the trail. Then I think I was just summiting like a mountain right outside of Syed Valley as the eclipse was happening because that happened in 2017. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You were on a mountain peak when the eclipse.
Yeah,
hit?
or like a hill, I suppose. You know, but
A
high
tall
hill. It felt like
hill?
a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool as hell, man.
For sure.
No, it's fucking sick.
Yeah, because that was the year, man. So yeah.
Snake
Yeah.
shadows and everything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll have to tell our eclipse stories, but yeah,
We
man.
just might.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, definitely. That was cool.
You were
was-
just outside of the totality, though, right?
Totally.
So,
I think we were at like just below 90
Okay.
line, wherever that was, but I'm not sure
yeah.
about that.
So you had a
Yeah.
bunch of light changes and like.
Yeah, it definitely got dark.
Yeah.
for sure.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Midday darkness. Love it.
Yeah, I was summiting that, but But yeah, that was like Northern California. So just like a few days after that, I crossed the Oregon border, which this is like months and months into my hike, and I'm finally in my second state.
Oh my god, right?
You know?
Wow, right? Yeah.
Well, now, just for our listeners who are unclear, and for me whose geography is failing me right now, like, about how far from the Oregon border does the Sierras stop?
Oh, that's a good question. So basically, there's like a whole... Can I answer this? I think I can. 600 miles, roughly? Maybe?
Yeah, okay.
Let's see, because I think mile 1,000 is roughly, I don't know, it's at the beginning of the Northern California section, which is right after the Sierras.
Right.
That's mile 1,000, which is a big mile point, you know.
Okay, no, you already mentioned that. The Sierras end, and then there's this Northern California leg.
Exactly.
So, like,
So that whole section essentially is after there, which, I don't know,
Got it.
according to my bandana here, is around 600 miles.
and that's mostly foothills and, like...
I clearly
into
have
the
a
bandana.
great
Yeah.
fucking memory.
It's like foothills and scrub forest and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
totally.
Okay.
It's like what everybody imagines Oregon to be. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
shitload of like, right? But like Oregon's like so much fucking desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so like you get to the Oregon border-ish, and like
Well, and so you managed to dodge the fires.
Yeah.
Yeah. I managed to dodge that fire.
Oh, that fire. Right.
But that is by no
Dodge
means
roll.
the ends of the fires.
Right.
To my PCT.
dodge roll around the fire.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
So yeah, like the continuation of that story. Let's see. So I hiked all the way to Crater Lake, and there was another fire closure around
Right,
Crater Lake.
because Crater Lake burned that
Crater
year.
Lake is like always on fire. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty much every
Not
other one.
wrong.
But no, totally. Yeah, it did. I believe that year. Well, I know that year, and so I had to like just south of Crater Lake, I think is where it was.
Now,
So
hold
I
on.
had to dodge before I got there.
Hold on. You mentioned that you were trying to get to Medford. And as far as I know, Medford is before Crater Lake.
That's true. That is
Okay.
correct. Hey,
So-
you must be an Oregonian.
So what happened?
Geography.
What's up with this whole Medford?
Oh,
thing?
sure. So like Shelby was in Medford and her family was there, and so I was gonna like hang out with them for a little bit.
Nice.
And so I did that, and we resupplied, and I went to Winco, and Shelby will tell you about all like the bullshit that I bought at Winco. Just, like, eating like a 13-year-old, because you can eat whatever
Lovely.
you want on trail, right?
Right.
Because you're burning like 4,000
Yeah, it doesn't
calories a
matter,
day.
right?
I mean, you
Yeah.
might as well
Yeah.
snort some pixie sticks, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Right.
speaking of eating whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
man. Kitty's
feeding
getting
time for
food.
Kitty.
But yeah, so that was the stop at Medford, and then actually my dad met me on trail in Medford, and we like hiked together for
killer.
roughly a week.
Whoa, right
Yeah,
on.
so it was really cool.
That's
yeah, I forgot to
a
mention
week
that.
with
Sorry,
your dad?
Sorry, Dad. I've cursed and said a lot of bad things on this podcast. So I probably won't have you listen to this, but sorry, Dad, if you do.
Hey, I mean,
But
he
yeah,
can
we
listen
hiked
to this
together for a while.
episode. This is perfectly innocuous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he wanted to like do a section with me, and so we did a little of Southern Oregon together.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
cool as hell.
Worst water I drank on trail was in that section with my dad.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, man, we filtered.
Oh yeah,
some
how
water.
did you deal with your water? Did you just you would boil it? I imagine.
Actually, we had water filters.
Oh really?
Right.
Yeah.
Told
Okay.
you.
Okay. Okay.
Boiling it's old school, bro.
Look, dude, it's been a while since I've
I've
been.
gotten sick off boiled water. Like,
Yeah?
it's not
Yeah.
enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be the case. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, we didn't do much boiling. Yeah, so kind of the traditional way of doing it is these filters where like, I don't know, you basically plug, there's like this hose that you stick in the water and then you pump it into like your bottle or whatever, right? And you just pump it. Anyway, they've done away with those, and so now
Pump it.
you
Pump it up.
So now what they do is actually you squeeze it, right? So they've got Sawyer squeeze is the way to go if you're on the PCT. Everybody uses these because they're way lighter. You basically just like have a bag that you then like shove in the creek or whatever. You pull it up, and then you've got a bag of dirty water. This bag is like exclusively your dirty water bag, right? Like
Right.
you don't let clean water touch that. And then you have like a little
That
like
was my nickname in high school. Was dirty water.
dirty water, dirty water bag. So you screw this like canister into the top of the bag, and then you just like squeeze it out, and the canister just filters it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wild.
Sawyer squeeze, they're like $40, something like that. They're like super cheap,
Whoa.
really light, way faster than the pump. So
Badass.
if you backpacker, like definitely do that. 'cause
And
it's
just like
100%
it
better.
just totally works. Like
Yep.
Just filters every single
Filters
thing?
out bacteria. I think like not viruses or something like that, but like for the most part, that's
But like Giardia and all the like
which
problem
is, like,
stuff.
your biggest concern.
yeah, Giardia is the big thing.
Well, and I
Yeah.
mean, like, that makes more sense because, like, a pump, you know, like, it's the same action, but, like, on a much smaller focal point.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're just squeezing it, like, damn, that's
Yep.
smart.
Just like mechanically pushing it through.
Yep.
You gotta clean it out every once in a while.
That's
but
cool.
It does the job. But yeah, it got really clogged up there in Southern Oregon. I'll tell you that, man. Some like murky ass water.
Yeah. Well, you're in
Yeah.
the lowlands, you know, like, you don't have that alpine filtration.
Oh, dude, yeah. In the Sierras, like I would occasionally just drink water without filtering it.
Fucking A, man.
Because that was fresh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
on Broken Top, I drank some ice melt.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
There you go.
There
Shit
you
was
go.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's live water with nothing but mountain goodness.
Yeah, dude. Just like throw some snow in your mouth on a hot day.
Exactly.
Good old Mountain Dew. Sweet. Okay, so you keep trucking through Oregon. Wait, so do you stop off in Portland?
Well, no. Like, let's talk about
Okay,
the
wait.
Crater Lake fire.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
the next point on the journey.
Totally. So the Crater Lake fire, had to get around that. Got around it kind of the usual way with, you know,
Finding
making my
BLM
own
roads
stuff.
and
Yeah. I
trails and-
I had a couple off days in Medford, so I spent some time planning on like where I wanted to go.
Well, and like that Paulina National Forest area has a bunch of trails that kind of spiral off of Crater Lake. So
Yeah. I'm trying to even remember specifically what trails I took at that point. I think ultimately, like coming back in, I think I took the whatever road that is that just like leads straight into Crater Lake. Like, I think I was just walking along that.
fucking A, man.
I mean, yeah,
Right on.
Fuck it.
It definitely
Like,
got to that point.
yeah, well, and that's the other thing is like, yeah, there might be a lot of trails that spiral off the mountain, but they don't necessarily go anywhere.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's got to be the right one. Yeah.
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 But yeah, fortunately, I was able to hike on Crater Lake, so I was able to
dope.
go around the rim on like the rim trail. of
Well,
Crater
shit.
Lake. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Which is normal for the PCT. So like,
Now, was the wizard
But yeah.
actually at Wizard Lake when you were there?
yeah, a little too far away. Didn't have my binoculars with me, but
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I assume he was.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But dude, it was like a clear enough day, you know, that I probably could have seen him, right?
Absolutely.
Weirdly enough, like it wasn't super smoky, which is kind of what I was expecting.
Huh.
But yeah,
Damn.
but it was actually like really clear and nice on the particular days that I was around Crater Lake.
That's cool.
Brilliant.
But-
I'm stoked that you got to hike Crater Lake.
Totally.
I love that area.
Me
Yeah.
too, dude. I fucking love Crater Lake.
Hell yeah.
That
And
was
it wouldn't have
gorgeous.
been
So
on
made
your
it around
path
there.
normally.
So it actually would have. So
Oh, okay.
PCT, well, it's kind of weird in that area. There's a few like alternate trails that people always take. The PCT is an equestrian trail, so like it's designed for horses. So occasionally there's alternates where every person who's hiking the PCT hikes, but it's not technically the PCT. It's an alternate, but it's not technically the PCT because it's not like.
Because you can't ride a horse on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Crater Lake's one. Eagle Creek Trail is another one, right?
Hmm.
Like everybody always takes that, but you know, like going around Tower Falls and everything's super sketchy. It's not like a horse trail.
Right.
So there's like a PCT
So
trail
like,
that runs like
so
parallel
when
to that.
so when people take the PCT, there's nothing. I mean, so there is a defined PCT, but people will take other routes, and it's like it's no biggie. It's like I did it, right?
Right. There are like there are defined alternates that are just so ubiquitous or like so commonplace that it's just like that's essentially the PCT.
Sure.
Maybe somebody who says they did a record like would have to skip that and technically do that, but it's basically like everybody does Eagle
Right,
Creek because it's
right.
fucking gorgeous.
'Cause-
Like,
well,
you
yeah.
guys have done Eagle Creek.
And,
right?
and
Like-
you're not trying to fucking score any records unless you're
Right.
doing one of those speed hikes. Now, I'm a little upset that you didn't mention this is an equestrian trail right off the bat because I have a lot of questions about how many people actually ride horses on this trail
oh, sure.
and how many that you encountered. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Definitely encountered horses from time to time. Yeah, a lot of people, especially in the JMT, the John Muir Trail, which is essentially the PCT in the Sierras. It's like
Right.
the same trail, right?
Uh-huh.
A lot of people like, well, and in Northern California too, like on horses and that kind of thing. Yeah,
No shit.
yeah, a few here and there.
So there's legit equestrian traffic.
Totally. Yeah, not like a fuckload, but like
That is not something that I would have expected.
yeah.
I mean, there's like how many fucking horse owners are there out there these days? You
Right.
know? Like,
I mean,
guess we'd be
enough.
surprised.
Like,
yeah.
and this is the place
Yeah.
to do it. Like, there
I
are
would be
people who like
surprised.
through
I've
ride the PCT.
ridden
for
horses,
sure.
like, you know, I'm no stranger to horsecock, but you know, it's not the first thing I would have thought of with the
There's a soundbite for
PCT.
Yeah.
Fuck, I had to answer a horse question on my fucking written driver's test
Well,
here in Oregon.
And that's why.
And I
Did you?
think I got it wrong.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you do if you encounter a horse coming at you on a road and the driver does like, or the rider does like this with their hand?
Classic.
And they were like, is the horse spooked? Should you turn around or like see? And I was like,
So-
I fucking don't know.
Probably.
For our listeners at home, if you're taking the Oregon written test at any time in the future and they're asking you about hand signals on a horse, they're the same as bicycle signals.
Are they?
No, but it ended up being the answer I'm pretty sure was like the horse is spooked, like
Oh, shit,
stop
what?
or like proceed
Yeah.
with caution or whatever. It was like a whole
Are you
horse
sure?
signal. Yes.
I swear to God, there's no signal for
No,
when
it
a
was
horse
not
is
a
spooked.
turn left or right. It was like a specific about like how you should proceed next to the horse in your car.
Yep.
It was wild.
Well, I would have failed that question.
Yeah. Everyone does.
No, and I
One everybody
believe
misses.
the only questions that I've ever failed on the Oregon driver's test are horse questions. So,
Yep.
you know, it's not why I don't have a license today, but
That's why you don't have a horse license.
So we don't have a horse yet.
I mean, there's several reasons why I don't own a horse, and many of them are state mandated. But that's neither here nor there.
All right, Mark. All right, so bring us home.
So next step,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You're riding a horse next to Crater Lake.
yes, yeah. Well, the horse is in my proximity.
Sorry, you've murdered a horse
Generally
next to
not
Crater Lake. I'm sorry.
Whoa. Wait. 3, 2, 1.
So yeah, so I murdered my horse, and I was continuing my way around Crater Lake. So the next big like obstacle which I encountered after Crater Lake was surprise, more fires. Right?
Yeah?
So again, this is 2017.
Yeah, it was the
Fires
year of
were
the
sprouting
fires.
up
It really
everywhere.
was.
Yeah. So not to like belabor the point, but
Fuck, I think we had
here's the
Green
big
Peter
thing.
on fire that year, like up in Detroit, like
yeah,
you know, all kinds of shit up in
Totally.
the Cascades. Yeah,
yeah, it got fucking crazy. So
Well, and that was the year of the Gorge Fire, too.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
so that's
yeah.
exactly perfect. That's what I'm getting to now.
Eagle
So
Mountain
like
Creek was
Eagle.
blazing.
So yeah, like there was fires near Sisters, like a big one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Detroit Lake or one of those big
No,
lakes. It was
no,
like hard to.
It might not have been Detroit Lakes. It might have been something else. But yeah,
Right.
absolutely Black Butte, something like that.
Totally. Yeah, so there's a fire in that area. There's a fire near Jefferson too,
Fuck.
and both of those had closed parts of the PCT, right?
Right.
And then,
Damn.
so I was trying to figure out how to get around those, get to the top of them, and then walk kind of through the hood area.
At any
right?
point, did you consider trying to find some form of like asbestos suit and a respirator? Going
Just,
for it?
blazing straight through.
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm staying on the PCT. God damn it!
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, the closest I got was actually around that area where I was trying to like. So basically, what I ended up doing was I had to walk around these fires, so I went out to Bend essentially, right? Which
Right.
which is fairly far east of the PCT, right?
Oh, yeah,
I just
I mean,
had
like-
to jog all the way over there.
Sisters is
Yeah, I mean, looking at your
Ostensibly
bandana
way
here,
closer.
that's way out of the way, right?
It is. It's like
That is way out of the way.
it's like directly west, basically.
Yeah.
meow.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. So I like walked out to Bend and
Wait, you walked to Bend?
yeah, I walked to Bend. Yeah.
Because I've driven most of the way to the PCT from Bend, and I was driving for a while.
Yeah, man. Walked to Bend from Mexico, dude.
But I walked to Bend from Mexico. Right? You ain't got
But-
shit.
But yeah, so like I was like, well, fuck, I gotta walk. So I walked to Bend because that was the next like kind of major spot, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, what are you gonna get in Sisters anyway? At Thriftway?
Well, no, I did actually end up in Sisters, and I may have gone to the Thriftway. But so I went out to Bend, and that's where I encountered like probably the most smoke I encountered on trail. Like it was pretty rough. Like
Yeah.
I did not have like a whole suit respirator situation, but like it was just me and this bandana really.
Nice.
Wait, you
pushing
breathe
through
through
that
this
spot.
bandana?
Yeah, I think so.
I love it.
Yeah, I also have like an American flag bandana, which I got back in the desert from somebody in a hiker box. Yeah, that was sweet. So I was like breathing through that on my way through Oregon.
Nice.
Yeah, but so I walked out to Bend, and then I had to make a decision, right? Because there's like, listener at home doesn't get to see this, I guess, but there's fires in Jefferson, Sisters, and Eagle Creek, which is basically like on the PCT.
Well, no shit. So basically,
Right.
if you're looking at the map of the Pacific Crest Trail adjacent to Bend, you have 3 fires that are blocking your progress.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, what do? Just hike up 97 until you get to fucking Warm Springs and then fucking, like, hang a dog leg and go to Hood? Like,
I mean, like,
Jesus.
yes.
Literally what I did.
Yeah, pretty damn close.
Sorry. I'm sorry that I keep guessing your fucking...
No, that's fucking perfect. Yeah, that's exactly. I was hoping you'd like nail it. So like, it wasn't it was not through Warm Springs, but I did consider Warm Springs.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, so I was in Bend, and I was like, all right, so what am I going to do? Like, most of the PCT's closed. Exactly that. I might as well just like walk along the road.
Well, yeah.
At this point, the question was like, how do I cross the Columbia?
Yeah.
Right between Oregon and
Right.
Washington,
So
right?
based on my experience from the video game, the answer is to put your oxen on a raft.
Yeah. I think I also have to traverse the Columbia. That's going the wrong direction, see, because then I'm going to get to the
you're
Willamette
trying
Valley.
to go to Portland there, yeah.
Right,
you're
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because what at that point you can't dip up to the Dalles, right? Like that's so much further. Is that what you
is,
did?
It is pretty far.
Well, I mean, like, there is a dam crossing there.
Yeah.
There is a crossing there. And so
Well,
here's
it's literally a dam.
a damn. So let me tell you about all the crossings. So like basically my options were hike all the way in some weird wacky way, get to Portland and cross
Well,
at 2:05.
Let's
Yeah.
let's back it up just 1 second.
Yeah.
What is the normal crossing for the PCT?
Great question. So the normal crossing is at Cascade Locks,
Oh, okay.
which is just like you know where Cascade Locks is. It's just like a super small town on the Columbia,
Okay.
right? So that's where the normal
But
crossing is.
it's also very close to Eagle Creek, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So that was just like totally off bounds, right? There was no way I could cross at Cascade Locks.
Right.
Yeah, super important to say that. So like just east of there was Hood River, and there's like no pedestrian crossing at that crossing. Yeah, it's just
I never fucking thought about
it's
that.
just like a 2-lane. There's
what
no
do you
way to
do
do
on
it.
that fucking bridge if you're walking?
Yeah, you can't. Like you'd have to hitch,
You
which
just,
I
like,
decided I wasn't going to
wave
do.
Just
at
hitch
the
on across
cars,
that
yeah.
bridge. Yeah.
And you can. I mean, I haven't mentioned this, but we, I'd hitchhiked like 40 times before this point. So like that's a very normal thing in the PCT.
Sure.
But I wanted to walk every step, right?
I love this.
So I even
like,
wanted to walk across the
commitment,
Columbia,
yeah.
right? So I was like, I can't walk across at Cascade Locks. I can't walk at Hood River. So my two options are walk over all the way west to Portland and cross there at like literally 2:05 because you can like bike or there's a multi-use path there.
Yeah. Totally.
But that's like ridiculous, right?
Oh my god.
Or
yeah.
even more ridiculous, but well, maybe slightly less ridiculous.
But a little more
go
balls out. Yeah.
Even more east, all the way to the Dalles.
To the
and
Dalles.
cross there.
Yeah.
Because there is a
That's-
pedestrian crossing at that bridge.
Holy shit.
funky town.
And to do
Oh my
that,
God.
I would have to just like literally fuck the PCT at the point I was at and just start
Well, right.
hiking north.
But it dovetails
roads.
nicely with your plan to just go up 97 because like you can just straight cross in the Dalles. Yeah.
Totally. So 97 and then was it 197?
Yep,
is that right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Or
Through mopping.
Don't quote me on that. But yeah, like fucking mopping.
I love
dude.
mopping.
Oh
Yeah.
like y'all.
Mopping
If,
was nice.
if anybody wants to go whitewater rafting, like let's do fucking mopping, you guys.
Totally.
It's so
Yeah.
nice.
I want to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think I did once, and we started or stopped at Wapping, whichever one that is. I
Yeah.
forget. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
But it's lovely.
White Horse to Boxcar or Boxcar to White Horse. I forget
Yeah.
how it flows, but yeah, I mean like that's just a playground, especially in late August. Like you can do this. Sorry, I'm waxing a little
Dude.
long in the tooth here, but like
Wax.
you can do a roller coaster in a life jacket because there's this enormous pressure wave on the river there where you can just park your raft and just like keep going back and doing it again.
Nice.
And I'm talking about like if you hit it on the right part of the season, like a good 9-foot wave, you know.
That's so
Nice.
insane.
Rolling over, you know.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Holy shit, on any other river, like, you would just die, you know. But, like, it's so deep, like, so much water has been forced into such a narrow channel, and there's, like, such enormous rocks so far down that, like, just the hydraulic pressure makes these massive waves.
Hell yeah.
It's brilliant. Anyway,
Man, I'm such a fucking bad swimmer. Like,
so what the
I
life
gotta work on my
jackets are
swim
for,
before
dude.
that. Yeah.
You don't need to
Right?
swim. You just hop in.
Right?
There you go.
Great. Anyway, love mopping.
Totally. So yeah, we can skip up to there. So I essentially like road walked all the way to Maupin and then up to the
So
Dalles.
you walked from Bend to Moppin,
I walked from Bend to the Dalles. Yeah.
and then you walked to the
shit.
Dalles.
Yeah. And then I just totally skipped the PCT at that point because
Yeah,
it was
you
my
did.
only way. I mean, I could have. Okay, so theoretically, I could have like found some way to get back on trail, walked 40 miles, and then got off trail again, and then did that back and forth all the way up. But it would have been ridiculous.
Man, you
so I
walked
just
through
skipped
some
the whole thing.
beautiful country, though.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, like Eastern Oregon, like, or I guess it's not Eastern, but sort of Central. Like,
No, it's Eastern-ish.
it
Yeah.
feels Eastern,
yeah,
right? 'Cause
Eastern
it's,
Cascades. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is the important part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful, like just like these
I mean,
rolling.
it's not quite
deserty
painted hills,
and-
but you know, like close.
It's
you
hills.
know, adjacent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really lovely. And then
How
making
long
it to
did
the
that
Dalles
detour
was
take you?
awesome.
Like, how much does it set you
I
back?
remembered. Well, so that's the thing is like I'm not sure. I would like to say it set me back a bunch to give me that like buffer or whatever, but like it, road walking is weird. It's hard to say because like
Yeah.
in some ways it's easier because you're not gaining and losing
Right.
elevation. In other ways it's harder because you're having to like I don't know, find weird ass places to camp on the side of the
Yep.
road next to some like roadkill bones and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or wander far afield and worry about like
Right. Yeah.
whose property that is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely camped on some people's private property for sure,
Yeah.
and like was just hoping that they wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, way
That
out there in the
happened multiple
sticks, who
times.
gives a fuck, dude?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not lighting any fires, you're using your camp stove. Like, who gives a fuck?
Trying to be chill.
But I mean, like, the alternative is like, how much longer would it have taken you to like try to do the weird web work route, like around each individual forest fire, when there's fucking 3 of them,
Yeah.
and that short of a distance.
Oh,
you know?
man. That is so gnarly, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I really want to go back and actually hike the PCT in Oregon because I like didn't actually get to do
Right.
most of
Yeah,
it. Right?
yeah.
Or at
You
least the
circumvented a
cool
huge
part of
chunk
it.
of
Hey,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Like,
What's
I-
funny is like
I will-
I've done a lot of those parts before too, so it's like not a
I'm
big
pretty
deal.
much past ever wanting to do the whole thing, but I'll do Oregon.
Dude, we should totally section hike Oregon.
Yeah, man.
Like, I would 100% do that
I'd be
with,
down.
with folks. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that'd be a great like group hike too.
Absolutely. And I mean, like,
Yeah,
what are we talking, like 30 days maybe?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, do
That'd
that
be
in a
cool.
month. Kick it out.
Seems about
God,
right.
that'd be fucking cool.
Yeah,
Sick. Hell
it'd be a
yeah.
blast. Yeah, especially Northern Oregon, man.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like going around hood and
Incredible.
shit.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to sneeze at Southern Oregon, but like, man, once you hit those like real fucking Cascades, like, oh Jesus, dude. Like,
Well, and so, like,
Right
had
on
you done
Broken
it proper, are you skirting east or west around Hood?
That's a good question. I should know that. You
Well, I wouldn't
stop
say
at
it's west,
Timberline?
right?
I would imagine west.
that's where Eagle Creek is.
Mm,
Or am I wrong?
I don't know enough.
Ooh,
I'll let you
My geography is
I'm
shit
forgetting.
on
I
there.
know one like I think one stop is like Timberline, right? Is that what I'm thinking of, or whatever you call it? Yeah, Timberline Lodge is a stop, so I think
Okay.
you're close enough to there. So it's, you kind of get up on it a little bit, and, but I forget how much you actually like skirt past.
Oh yeah.
I want to say east, but I don't know.
So anyway, you
Close
get to the Dells.
I don't know, man. That's the thing with the PCT is like everybody asks me like sort of geography questions or stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I was there for like an hour. You know,
Right,
what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
like so
You're like,
uneducated
I
about
didn't-
this
I didn't
space that
take
I've
the
been in for so
tour
long.
of the dam, bro.
Right.
I walked across it.
Right. But anyway, yeah, so I crossed there at the Dalles. It was super smoky that day, had fires going on. I guess the next step was so Mount Adams is there, right, in sort of southern Washington. And there was actually a fire there too. So really I was walking around 4 fires because there was one in
Jeez.
southern Washington.
Yeah, that's 4 fires in the length of
Basically a
less than
state.
Northern California. Yeah.
Totally. Or sure, yeah. So like I basically like caught back up with the PCT in like Trout Lake-ish, which is like kind of just south of Mount Adams.
Okay.
And then hopped back on there, which was awesome, right? I'd been off trail for like weeks, and like actually.
Did you catch back up with anyone that you knew, like anyone who had been rolling with?
No. So I didn't see any of my like original buddies from the PCT post. Before I jogged off to go to Bend, basically.
Yeah.
I never saw them again except for post trail.
So the last
Pickles
time you
and I hung
saw
out,
Stranger
clearly.
Danger was like
way back when.
Oh, Josh, when did I see Josh last? Yeah, I mean, I think I
No
saw
names,
him last.
bro.
I'm like, shit. Josh Companion. Vancouver, BC. No, I think I saw him last at like, late Sierras, maybe like early Northern California.
But most
But
of your
yeah,
trail
dropped off.
family kind of gone their separate ways.
Yeah, totally. Or some of them had like hitched up together or whatever. The only people who were doing essentially the same thing I was doing were Songbeard and Phoenix were hiking together, and they were maybe about a week behind me.
Okay.
And they
And
were
they
essentially
followed your
doing
route?
roughly the same thing. I think in some places they followed my route, but
Yeah.
I forget like what. I forget specifically how they took it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Occasional helicopter / squirrel suit.
Yeah, helicopters come up. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Only things get bad, but
Well, and they found a peak where it was like, this is perfect for squirrel suiting. So we'll see you at the bottom, buddy.
yeah, it would save a lot of time. But yeah, so I basically could keep telling the same story over and over again, but like I encountered then another fire next to Mount Rainier. So after I passed Mount Adams,
What in the actual fuck?
yeah. So
This
then
year was shit.
it was shit, dude. So like Mount Rainier is west of the PCT, right?
Right.
Okay, so it's like right here. And there was a fire which was essentially on the PCT west of Mount Rainier.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, east of Mount Rainier, right?
Right.
So like right here on the PCT. So I had to
Right.
figure out how to get around that. There's not a whole lot of trails to the east of the PCT, so the only way I could get around it was going around Mount Rainier, which literally was like circumnavigating like this
So, like-
gigantic fucking mountain.
So
I
like
was
go
gonna say,
down
back
on
south
PCT.
and like south and then fucking west.
Let's
and then
go
up
to
yeah.
let's go to fucking God, I don't remember any of the towns around there, but yeah.
Longmire.
There we go.
Yeah,
It
there you
started
go.
with long. I almost said Longview, and I'm like,
Yep.
it's not fucking
That's
Longview,
the one, dude.
Yep.
So yeah, I had to go. So I like hiked all the way out to Longmire, and then I took the Wonderland Trail, which is like this trail which like goes all the way around Mount Rainier.
Now, does it go through
gorgeous
the
trail.
Olympic rainforest?
No, so that's actually much further north up here, and like
Oh,
this sort of
derps. Yeah,
peninsula.
sorry.
right there. No worries.
I'm thinking
Dude,
of
I want to go to the Olympics so bad. It's gorgeous up here.
I'm thinking of Olympia.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
But yeah, the Wonderland Trail is amazing. So you're just like literally going around Mount Rainier.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
So I just decided I wanted to do that instead, and that was
Yeah.
like super hard. I got all the way up to like Enumclaw, Washington, like Black Diamond. It's like sort of like east of Tacoma,
Right.
in Seattle, sort of.
Right.
So then I was like up in there, just like again back to bullshit road walking, camping, and
foothills above
shit.
the sound.
Yeah.
kinda,
Yeah, totally. So I did that, and then I walked all the way back along. I forget what highway it was, but back to like some pass on the PCT, like Snoqualmie Pass, I think is where I hit back up the PCT,
Right.
and then kept hiking north again. So at this point, like things had gotten real bad. This is backtracking slightly, but like back when I was on like Goat Rocks Wilderness. So there's like this really
Goat
dope
Rocks.
Goat Rocks, dude. So if you haven't been to Goat Rocks, it's amazing. It's like it's within like driving distance of Portland, and it's just like an awesome backpacking destination.
Question:
Yeah, go for
Are
it.
there goats?
I did not see a single goat.
Are there rocks?
Yes.
All right, 1 out of 2.
We got there.
But yeah, it's like super cool place to backpack. Tara and I went there about a year ago. But
Sick.
yeah, so like once there's this spot that's called Knife's Edge, another one of those alternate trails that they don't let horses out up on. But
I can't imagine a horse walking on a knife's
Knife's
edge.
Edge,
Yeah,
Or goat rocks, for that matter.
your math checks
it's not
out.
called horse rocks. But so yeah, I was up on Knife's Edge, and it's usually this like beautiful vista, right, where you can just like see out into this, like, it's Knife's Edge, right? So it's like a cliff
Right.
face, and you can just see all this gorgeous stuff.
Panoramic kind of vista. Yeah.
But so like essentially like the weather started to turn on me because I was getting in. That's the thing I haven't been talking about. I was starting to get into like late September, early
I
October.
was gonna say, like, where are we at here?
Oh yeah, so
I'm way behind.
Because this is the deal with Washington is like, Issaquah, all that shit. Like it turns sour like early September.
And when were you supposed to end? Like ideally, if everything went to plan.
If everything went perfectly, September 15th, right?
Oh,
like,
shit.
Ideally, and right now I'm like late September as I'm getting into southern Washington. Yeah.
Oh fuck. Oh,
Or maybe
fuck.
mid-September is a good in southern Washington or something like that. But it's like it's not.
You
it's
got
not
a
going
ways
perfectly.
to go, and
Yeah.
it's past the middle of September.
It's past time, right? So like that me wanting to play this on hard mode is like, we're playing it on hard mode.
Yeah.
and
We're
I
playing
might fail
survival mode at this point. Like, fuck, dude.
Totally. So it's just like, man, let's just see how far I can get, see if I can do this. So the first kind of actual snow I encountered was on Knife's Edge. So I should
As
be
in
able to see.
snowfall?
Yeah, so I should be able to see like a vista, and this is what I
Oh,
see.
to our listeners at home, I'm looking at whiteout.
All right, well, you got to share this picture. Whoa, shit! Yeah, that is just a complete whiteout peak.
Oh,
Right.
Oh,
And
okay.
I should be able to see out, among like super
Yeah.
miles like at that point. So
dude, that is gnarly.
right. So I start to encounter stuff like that.
And how much warm weather gear are you carrying?
Not a lot. So
Yeah, because you've been
not a lot
summer
at all.
hiking. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I even took a stop off kind of in this area right here.
At the south end of the sound.
Yeah, I think it was like Longmire, and then so it's actually in Longmire before I did Mount Rainier. And anyway, I had some folks, my actual folks, my parents brought up some like warm weather gear I'd asked for.
Nice.
Boot had some old shit from 2009,
Nice,
which
nice,
he bought me.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not too far for your folks live here, right?
Yeah, they live,
I mean,
they live on the coast, but yeah, same difference basically.
all right.
Northern coast.
Close enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
My parents are fucking awesome. I very much appreciate them bringing it
Oh,
up.
yeah.
But yeah, so got that shit there. So I had some warmer gear as we started to get into that kind of stuff, but it still was pretty rough.
Now, how many other people do you estimate were on the trail at this point?
I don't know about the whole trail, but I will
like
say
on the part that you were on.
yeah, like I didn't see anyone else hiking solo. I'll say that, and like very few other people I knew about that were hiking it at all. So I was just like super behind at this point, basically because I decided to like take all these reroutes and shit. So there were a couple boys like behind me.
But like, you didn't have a choice,
Great story
right?
about them.
Well,
if I
like,
wanted
you
to
took
hike
all
it in
these
the way
reroutes,
I did,
but,
then
like,
yeah.
His choice was to maybe take transportation,
Not skip it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
essentially.
Yeah.
And hindsight's 20/20. There are certain things I could have done differently, but
Whatever.
Fuck
Yeah.
it, dude. Continuous footsteps, hard mode. Let's
Yeah,
do this.
I like it. I like the
Totally.
continuous footsteps thing.
exactly,
Yeah.
that was kind of my plan. So, in fact, I mentioned these guys I met in Trout Lake who were also doing it, like 2 other dudes. They had continuous footsteps all the way to the Columbia, and the way they got across the Columbia was like super creative. So I think they got to Hood River, and they contracted this company that did paddle boats, and they paddle boated across
No
the Columbia.
shit.
Yeah,
I love
Nice.
it.
which is like such a creative way to do it.
That's
So
cool.
anyway, shout out to them.
I mean, they did it standing
yeah.
up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
are their trail names?
Yeah. Oof. I don't remember those.
Paddle
titles.
boat
Specifically.
or paddle and
Sorry,
boat.
guys. I got their real names on Facebook.
Paddle and boat.
Those are them now.
That's right. So yeah, so
But,
you
yeah.
got some warm weather gear from your parents around southern tip of the sound, and from there you were a snowman, right?
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, I was like in and out. So there's basically just like a few legs to go here, right?
Yeah, I mean, how long did you have to go? Conditions being perfect.
Conditions being perfect, just like a few hundred miles, basically. So like 10% of the trail.
It's like a week or two.
A couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
But we were already up against like the time frame where things should be cutting off.
Right.
And then it's like super random, like when's winter going to come? And this year it did kind of come a little earlier.
And
Yeah.
are you
than we
still
wanted it
using
to.
the Swiss cheese tent?
Yes, absolutely.
Sweet Jesus.
Right. So I had not switched to like a full season. This was like a summer ass tent, you know.
Oh my
that I was
god!
doing.
With the handmade hole in the roof.
Yes. I mean, it had been since patched up, but the mice were still getting through somewhere that I
Oh
couldn't.
no!
Yeah, for sure.
Shit.
No, dude, this one time I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard this like thump-a-thump, thump-a-thump, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I looked around, went back to sleep, woke up again, thump-a-thump, thump-a-thump, and I look outside, like open up my vestibule thing, right? And I look out, and so we use smart water bottles on the PCT, like that you get at like a gas station or whatever.
Smart water, yeah.
Because smart water, right? They're
They got
light.
those nice nipple on them.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they actually fit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're like they fit really well in your bag, and they're super light. They're like lighter than an Nalgene bottle. So anyway, I had one of those stuck in my boot, and this poor little mouse had left the cap off, and he'd gotten stuck inside, and he was trying to like thump his way out of it. He was trying to like run up the side of the Nalgene or the smart water bottle and get out. Yeah. So anyway, I had to like pull it over and like all right, man.
I was gonna say, did you go Farley Mohawk and like make the mouse your dinner? Like,
It had not come to that, but
Yeah.
it was close.
Damn.
No, I let him get out, and he like eventually pulled his fat ass out the nozzle, but he had some trouble. But
fucking.
So you couldn't afford to cut it to like let him out because you
No.
need that fucking Nalgene. You're
Yeah.
like, get out of here.
I just held it there until he was ready. I was like, "It's all right, man. Take your time."
Yeah.
See, you drank out of
Poor
the
guy,
mouse
he's freaked
bottle?
out. Oh shit! Yeah, I don't think I ever sanitized that. Yeah.
Well, you
Hey.
dodged a bullet, my friend.
Hey. Fuck
Now
it.
that you mention it, don't think I thought about that at all, which tells you
Hey,
a lot
you know
about
what?
how trashy I was in
Mountain
the
mice
PCT.
are a lot different than city
I was
mice.
gonna say, like, I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't
Yeah.
be that worried about
Like,
it.
unless
dude.
he's got some weird kind of like blood disease from some ticks that happened
Yeah.
on some city folk, like, you're probably okay. That's weird to
Well,
think about.
Well, you
I'm alive
are
today.
okay.
I'm alive
So-
today.
Well, I'm
It's
gonna
been-
give you
it's
my.
been a sec.
I'm gonna
Apart
give you
from
a
the brain
pod
parasite,
name.
he's fine. Yeah.
Your pod name is Mouse Bottle.
I'll take it.
Marcus Mouse Bottle.
Yep.
I'll spottle.
Okay.
Through names. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
at this point, like I'm back on the PCT, north of Mount Rainier.
You're drinking mice.
I'm drinking my shit, and I'm trying to get to Canada yesterday, essentially.
Well, right.
Yeah. Seriously.
The White Walkers are upon you. Winter is coming.
Yes, it has come. It does came, and so yeah. So I had a stretch from. Well, there's like Snoqualmie to Skykomish, and then Skykomish to Stehekin. All these
Love
ass
the
names,
fucking
right?
Indian names
Yeah,
in
isn't it all
Washington.
pretty
It's
Washington?
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was going from Skykomish to Stehekin, and I had probably my worst week on trail, right? Or 5 days or whatever.
God damn.
Like I remember I was like getting some serious like introverted like anxiety right on trail, or like I said, it doesn't really have anything to do with introversion. Like anybody gets like
right.
fucking anxious. Like you're alone. Like I haven't seen anybody in 5 days.
Conditions are
and
weird.
It's cold as hell, and
Yeah.
it's freaking me out. Yeah, dude. So man, one day like it's starting to get like the Sierras again, right? Because you've got all these like steep up and downs,
Right.
right? Because you're in the northern Cascades, so you have to time out your days, right? So you've got to like get over this peak and then get back down so you can camp where it's warm. 'Cause
Right.
if you camp up on top, it's going to be like way too cold. Maybe the snow's going to come down. You know, it's just not good. Very unsafe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you've got to get over that. So it's all about timing. And like one time I was like up there in the middle of like a snowstorm type situation. You know, my phone was dying and like glitching out and having problems. And I'm trying to just like keep my fingers from like, you know, like keep them moving, right? Yeah, it's just not good.
That's really bad.
And like, yeah, right? And so like getting off that hill, like, and it's snowing up there, right? So then now the time I'm getting back down, it's still precipitating. It's just rain now, which is worse,
Oh.
right? Like rain's worse because rain just like
Freezing
sinks
rain
in.
now.
You know?
Right.
Well, even if it's
Yeah.
not freezing, like building a tent in like cold rain
Yeah.
is no, it's no good.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
big backpacking thing is like moisture is your enemy, right? Because that's how
Yep.
heat escapes you,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's tough stuff, and I didn't have a whole lot of. We actually didn't have hardly any precipitation in California. Like I got
The
my
desert?
first.
Shocking.
Yeah, weirdly, I got like other than actually day one. Weirdly, I got my first rain day in Hat Creek Rim, which is supposed to be the hottest part of California. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is, I barely got any rain in California, and it got like, it was coming down in Washington, like at certain
Yeah.
points.
Like it will do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Northern
'cause you're in the winter
Cascades,
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was starting to get really rough and really dangerous.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
To the
and
point where
you're
I was
alone.
wondering if I should, and I'm totally alone, right? So if I, like when I was on the top of that peak, right, or that pass or whatever, right? Like if I'd broken my leg or something,
Or just rolled your ankle.
Or rolled
like,
my ankle, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, you're
then
fucked.
like my timing's off for the day, right?
Yeah.
So now, okay, I can probably get down, but it's going to be midnight by the time I get off here, right? And so then like the temperature's going to drop way faster than I want it to.
Yeah.
Will I be able to set up my tent? Will I be able to like check off all my boxes? So that was how things were starting to get.
So you're kind of living by the minute here. Like, everything is so crucial now.
Yeah.
You're not just happy-go-lucky
Exactly.
doing your thing.
No,
it's like, no, everything is
it's become-
survival now.
It's become fucking Hatchet, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Remember that people die on this
Yeah,
thing. Like, I
yeah.
didn't know that.
People have
until
already
you said
died.
that. I didn't know that people died
Yeah.
on the PCTs. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, no.
that reality has to be, like,
It feels real. Like I said
Sort
before,
of
like, you know,
there.
I'm like starting to like think there are bears following me and shit. Like my own brain is like turning against me too because
Yeah.
I'm alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to Stehekin and I had to make a call. You know,
Yeah.
I got to
Yep.
Stehekin, which is right next to like Lake Chelan there or whatever. And I'm there and I'm like, should I continue at this point? And I could continue on the PCT, which is going over more of these peaks, and I know
And
there's
it's multiple more of these.
it's 1 week. 1 week is what I need, right?
Okay,
I
but
need
that's
maybe
still-
5 days.
But that's still 5 days of these up and downs of like, okay, every
Timing
single
it
day
just right.
it's
Yeah.
like nailing this thing, right?
100%, yeah. Like, and I gotta nail it.
Yeah.
Gotta nail it, or like shit could get bad. So that's a possibility. I thought about going a little bit west, a little bit lower around Ross Lake, but it's gonna rain this week, right? So I'm looking at the weather forecast, and it's gonna be bad.
And just nothing looks good in any direction.
Yeah, nothing looks good. In the other direction, there's no trails. So I'm just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And I decided to call it. And so
Hey man,
I called
Smart.
it at Stehekin.
I think that's smart, yeah.
yeah.
absolutely should have, dude.
Totally.
Close enough, dude.
Right. So
Dude,
I did the math.
For real.
I did the math, and it's 97%. So I feel pretty fucking good about it.
That's great,
Hey, man,
man.
that's an A+, you know? Like,
That is fantastic, dude.
Totally. So I stopped at Stehekin, got a ride back home, and that was the whole fucking
Well, and shit,
fucking
if
deal,
you
dude.
if you consider all the extra credit that you did, like, that's
how I like to consider it.
110%.
Dude,
really.
no kidding,
Yeah.
man. You went way out of your way to try and complete, and then, like, just the weather got the best out of you, so...
Well, good on you for not being a stubborn fuck and, like, calling it when it's safe, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
the
so
real MVP
here's the thing,
right
like,
there.
So
Really
something
is.
which was very validating for me, but dangerous for other people. Some guys got life lighted out of the section I was gonna go into
Jesus.
the next week. So,
Really?
whoa, there are people who are behind you who still kept
Yep.
going?
Totally. Well, they were in a
Of
pair.
course.
Because when you're in a pair, right, you know, you feel like whatever.
Oh, if you're in a
You don't
pair,
have, like,
dude,
the-
if I was in a pair, I would have been like,
that's the
fuck
thing.
it, dude, we can make this.
That's
Right.
the thing.
1 week.
You don't have
That's all
that
you
deep
need.
existential anxiety, which I had at the time.
Yeah, that's
which
the
like
thing.
Yeah.
kept me from dying.
Your fucking fear of death is what
Yeah.
kept you alive.
Dude.
And, like, two people pumping each other up, like, let's do this, bro. We just gotta get through this next week. Is what... I'm sorry, maybe being way too callous here, but, like...
Yeah.
It killed
No.
a couple of people. Like, fuck that, you know?
I mean, I'm not glad they turned out okay for sure.
Oh, I'm
They
sorry.
got-
You didn't
Yeah.
say that they died. Those people definitely died.
if it weren't for a helicopter, they probably would have. Like, I think they literally
yeah.
made an igloo and shit. Like, it got weird for those boys. Yeah.
They built a goddamn igloo?
From my understanding, yeah.
Man.
And we're like at the point where they were like, shit, like, I think they basically had one of these like transmitters, right? Like these
Yeah.
like
Right.
emergency buttons
like
to
a
press,
satellite thing.
which I actually also had. So like worst case scenario, I could have done that kind of thing, but I'm glad I didn't. Like
Yeah, no
they're
shit.
they're
No, you
in
made
their
the
little
right call,
shelter,
Well,
pressing the button. Helicopters
Damn straight.
can't get in because of the snow, and they're like, we might die here.
it's a damn
Which,
good
like,
thing
I'm
that
glad
they
I
had
didn't
that
have
shit.
to have that
and
moment.
I think I remember hearing about that now.
Yeah, maybe.
That those guys got life flighted out, yeah.
No.
Also, like, good on you for, like, just making a wise call and not costing the taxpayers of Washington some extra money.
Hey, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
there is that. Yeah.
Either I got to pay for it, or like somebody else has to pay. Like,
No,
a few
good on
thousand
you for,
bucks.
like-
And, yeah, it just doesn't seem like.
Yeah.
Being in touch with yourself enough to just be like, all right, you know what, man? Like, we're so
Yeah.
close, but, like, this is what it is.
Guess what? We made it. You know? Like,
But, you know,
okay.
I guess, like, I can almost see from your perspective, like, if you, yeah, you've been doing these up and downs for a couple days, and you're kind of, like, freezing, you're kind of, like, it couldn't have been comfortable, right?
Well, that's not what
yeah.
you signed up for. You didn't sign up for winter storm hiking.
Yeah.
It's not what this whole
Yeah, I
thing's
feel
about.
I feel like it's way easier to call it when you're just like, oh god, I'm fucking freezing, like every day in and every day out. Like this is not cool. This isn't fun. This sucks.
Yeah, dude. And I felt like, because it's a balance, right?
Yeah.
You want to have like this awesome journey where like you have moments like that and yet
Yeah,
you push
right.
through them.
Yeah,
like that's
right.
awesome, right?
Right.
And
That's a little bit of the point,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'd done that 5 times in Washington already. And I was like, I don't want to do that 2 more times and then die.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what it came down to.
Yep.
And I mean, like,
Yeah,
as
dude, good
fans
call.
of statistics will tell you, like,
Right.
after you've had a number of successes, like, maybe it's time to call it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. That too.
And there's a certain level of like gear and experience that I could have had, which would make that like totally doable. But 99% of the people who hike the PCT don't have that. This is like a summer backpacking experience.
Right.
It's like fucking epic and awesome, but it's very much like summer backpacking. Maybe it'll rain for a day, maybe 2 days, but then it'll let up and I can dry my shit. It's very different than like it rained for a week straight, nothing will dry, and
Right.
now I have to like
Yeah.
And you're sleeping in
Shiver in my-
freezing
yeah.
temperatures.
Yeah, and
you
maybe
know?
there's like snow winter hikers who like love that shit and they're like, cool, like we'll deal with this, but yeah.
because you got that
It's not you.
experience,
Yeah.
Yeah, someday I want to learn that too, but
Well,
I
and
did not
I mean,
have
at
that
that point, like, maybe it's better to sleep on the peaks just so you're not sleeping in rain. I don't fucking know,
Sure.
but, like, that's when you have snow gear, Like,
Right.
exactly.
not
Right.
when you have a tent that you fucking burn some ramen in.
It's literally a hole
like,
in it.
For real, man.
Totally.
Dude. Oh man.
Anyway.
That is so cool,
And that was a
man.
PCT.
Hell yeah.
Dude.
Dude, God, what a cool experience,
Yeah.
dude.
Fucking A. And I mean, like, it sucks that, part of the impetus was, like, maybe this relationship that wasn't, that you had seen was eventually going to end. But it's really cool that, like, somewhere in there, you found, like, who you're with now, Like, that's...
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Should we drop that in?
Oh, were you
You
talking about
already
literal relationship?
Did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's already been
Literally already talked about that.
Yeah.
Totally. I think we like touched on it, but didn't get like super deep into
I
it.
don't
No,
think
we
we.
didn't.
I
Yeah.
don't think we fully fleshed it out.
But-
We are talking about like
Like
my
you said that
actual
you had 2
relationship status
girlfriends.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
totally.
And, like, that's all that I'm saying.
Thank you
is
for I should probably like do that shout out for sure. So like so Tara and I
yeah.
Oh yeah.
and Ricky plays a part in this.
So let me back up a little bit because it's important to give credit here.
Yep,
I
yep.
did get credit in the New York Times article, so I
It's
demand
true.
credit here. Carry on.
In
You
my
laughed, but
defense,
there was a New York Times article.
We're getting there.
So in my defense, I
Alright.
did tell the guy from the New York Times that Ricky got us together, but I'm sorry I didn't make it.
Well, okay, so there was a New York Times article, and I'm not just laughing out of...
No,
No.
we'll link it in the
Okay.
show notes. It
No,
exists.
there is literally a New York Times
All
article.
right, explain yourself, Mark.
Well, let's back up. I got to give Ricky credit first. That's important. Otherwise he'll get in trouble. Yeah, totally. So let's see. So while I was in, I don't know, the Sierras, basically, I got tagged in. So this is the only good thing Facebook's ever done for me. So my current girlfriend, Tara, who's been on the pod a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who worked at NASA, the mechanical engineer.
Yes.
She was currently working at NASA. She is still interested in doing the PCT at some point. And so was asking on Facebook, like, hey, does anybody know anybody who's done like through hiking stuff? Blah, blah, blah. So Ricky, credit, basically like, tagged me or whatever in that comment post. So we Tara and I started talking while I was in like mid-California. I was like, oh, hey, you're like working at NASA and you want to go hike and you're cute. Like, fuck yeah, let's talk, dude. So
Yeah, good call.
yeah, that seemed like kind of a no-brainer. So sometime around like Southern California, like we really started talking while I was in Bend, but we got into it for sure while I was in my like road walk during Oregon, which worked out because I kind of had more service in Oregon.
I was
since
gonna
I
say,
was
right?
on the PCT.
Walking roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, and super
On the highway,
duper
I mean.
alone, right? So it was actually really great to be able to like, and
Dude.
like, so sort of like the beginning of our relationship was like while I was
But you had never met her.
road walking Oregon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we weren't like
man.
officially together or whatever, but
That's
I feel
so
like there's a
rad.
movie there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, it's a fucking New York Times article
Yeah.
/ movie already.
so explain the New York
TM.
Times article. Like,
so yeah.
what are we talking about here?
Right, so Tara and I, so after the Eagle Creek fire and all that shit, Tara and I wanted to like help clean up after that.
Mm-hmm.
So we like were on trail, like helping the year after that, like summer of 2018,
Cool.
with the PCTA, and then doing some other work, trail work in Washington and stuff. And some like a photographer and a writer from the New York Times like happened to be out that day, being like, "Oh, we're doing a story on the cleanup after this crazy fire." And they kind of latched on to Tara and I, and were like, "Hey, you guys have like kind of a cool story which we can use as like a hook to our thing about this broader story."
You also
Um,
both happen to be incredibly photogenic.
Yep.
Yeah, plus we're beautiful, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so we got in the New York Times, dude.
Fucking hit it.
Fucking thanks, man.
Nice one.
That's my claim
Yeah,
to fame.
man. Dude, right
All
on.
thanks to Ricky. Yeah, don't forget it. Should have been.
Thanks for the credit, homie.
But yeah, shout out to Ricky for the matchmaking.
Right? Well done. Well done.
Cool, man. I feel like there's just like a million more things we could probably talk about on this, so
No
maybe like
fucking
we'll
kidding.
even come back and revisit it. But we did like 3 hours on this already.
Yeah, dude.
So
Sorry for like
yeah. No.
droning on forever.
No.
Brilliant. And
It's
we
fucking cool,
needed-
dude.
We honestly needed this time to like pull the taffy and like get all of the fucking notes out of this. So
Dude,
Yeah.
seriously,
Thanks,
and
thank
that's
you.
why I'm saying like this was fascinating to me because I knew some of this stuff and then I wanted to hear even more of it, and now I feel like I could even hear more of it. So I don't know, maybe we'll do another one.
Sure,
but
got a
we'll
couple
also
other little
get you-
stories to tell if you're
Yeah, we'll
interested.
also get you back on for some other stuff too.
Oh, damn
So,
straight.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but let's call it and record an intro.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Might as
I will
well.
say, just if anybody else is
Oh.
interested in
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
anything about like
Yeah,
if
drops-
anyone is interested in PCT stuff or like through hiking stuff, like I would love to help out. So
Yeah,
this,
drop-
this sounds like something you want to do. Yeah, man.
Give me your
Talk to
info.
me. Oh,
Also
I think I'm
shout outs.
MBBPDX on Twitter. I never use it, but that's a way that you can publicly access me.
At NBBPDX
Yeah,
on Twitter.
MBE. Sorry.
Well, we'll link it in the show
Show
notes.
notes.
Yeah.
We will
That's
link
all
it in the
I'm
show
saying.
Yeah,
notes.
let's link it in the show
Yep,
notes.
there we
I think
go.
that's
Yep,
cool.
and you know, hit us up. We'll put you in touch with them.
There you go.
Yeah, if anyone wants to do like some crazy adventure like this,
Damn
like,
straight.
Just get a
yeah.
group together, man.
Yeah, we can put the resources together. But dude, thanks for coming on and talking
Yeah.
about this.
Thank
man.
you guys.
You're the
Yeah.
best, dude. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Don't get a chance to talk about it much, so I appreciate it.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, so cool. Hell yeah. All right, we're gonna call it and record an intro. Boom.
We'll be right back.